Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. It has been far too long. It seems that the cursed internet gods perhaps smile on me this day. I've actually been running a test stream all morning. So for the past 3 hours, I was running essentially what is a shadow stream. So there's a couple ways on Twitch and YouTube you can actually test your stream without going live. So I tested for the past 3 hours and it appeared to be okay. So this is exciting indeed. It's going to be a 4-man tournament today. Wanted to get, start with something a little bit small to get back into it. And of course, make sure everything is working. And go from there. So in our first match, it's going to be Tank versus King of the Dead. King of the Dead coming in with the Drown. So it looks like Vampire Counts versus Vampire Coast in our first game. And of course, King of the Dead loves picking the Drown in competitive games and actually making them work. It's pretty fun stuff. So welcome, guys. Yes, we're back in business. It feels good. God damn, it's been too long. It's been far too long. Yeah, I hope you guys are all doing well. Staying safe in these dire times. Let me just get everything set up here. So yeah, basically what's been going on is for the past, since April 12th, the 12th of April, my local internet provider essentially has been, I don't know if it's like throttling or if they said there's like massive congestion in my area and they had to like update the node, and they wouldn't tell us when they were updating the node. They just said it would be in the next like 3 weeks. And apparently last night my internet started working okay. So yeah, this could be it. This could be the moment of truth here, guys. Yes. King. Oh no, King. I don't need to use an army blocker though, King, because I'm in I'm in the spectator mode. All right. So it looks like King of the Dead is ready. Start when ready. We're going to be on the Desert's Bounty for the first map. Should be quite a bit of fun. So yeah, basically there was like a huge problem with and hopefully it doesn't strike today. It might. I mean, there's a substantial chance that the stream might crash out today, but I think we should be okay. I mean, I was testing for the past 3 hours and didn't have any problems. I know, Stuart, I missed you too. Trust me, I was sitting here like, man, I was so bummed out like these past couple weeks. It's just not streaming really. Streaming is my favorite thing about YouTube. It quickly, I mean, I like doing videos, but streaming is my favorite. So yeah, it was crazy. I had a technician come out. He couldn't do anything. He basically just said you have to wait. Like it's wild, yeah. King of the Dead coming in with the stream snipe. I don't know about that. I think we're safe from that. Yes. And welcome, guys. So assuming my streaming works once again, I will continue to stream for the foreseeable future every day. I'll probably do a Bannerlord stream tomorrow. And there was supposed to be a faction war in the past couple weeks, but it was indeed canceled because of my internet problems. But players are still on standby, so hopefully we'll be able to get it going this week. So we'll see. We have a donation coming in from Lich109. Got a tip for your legendary campaign. To view enemy stats, you need to click on the enemy unit, then click on the ground. That makes her stats appear. Now, is that a bug or is that intentional, Lich109? Seems like a bug. But thank you for that. Appreciate it. The campaign, I actually finished the Sigvald campaign, so I'm going to be updating the last couple episodes. And we have someone with a fun comment here saying he just went to the kitchen to get an apple, threw it in the air, and stabbed it with a kitchen knife midair. Dude, that is impressive, man. Big props to you. Big props indeed, brother. All right, so we're going to be loading into our first match. It's going to be Tank versus King of the Dead, Vampire Counts versus Vampire Coast, a.k.a. the Drowned. So King actually makes this work. Now, what Tank will probably do here, guys, is Tank, in one of the better ways to actually bring down some of the big monsters, because Vampire Counts only really have a couple options for dealing with big armored beasties like crabs. You can use the Terrorgeists, which Vampire Coast can fight back against, but you can also use Banshees. So using Banshees on foot is very, very strong. Granted, I don't even know what the Drowned brings to the table. You actually have the Damned Paladins, so this could actually screw with Tank's regular build, because Tank, from what I've seen when he plays against Coast, really does like to use the Banshees to shank the crabs. But considering he's playing the Drowned and has access to Paladins which do magic damage, I wonder how this will change his play. It's going to be quite curious indeed. So again, guys, welcome to the stream. It's a pleasure to see you all again. I actually have a second monitor that just arrived as well, so I'll be setting that up for the next one. Today was kind of a short notice thing. I was like, oh, my internet's working. All right, let's stream while it's working, and hopefully it'll stay that way. Man, it's good to be back. It feels so good and tasty. Yeah, so we'll be back doing some Bannerlord streams. Total War streams, of course, will be going pretty hard. And yeah, maybe I'll do a poll to see if we want to live stream our next Tehenwin campaign. Not really sure what we'll do with that, so let me just go ahead and minimize, make sure there's no army blockers up at the moment, as is my curse. And Lich, again, thank you so much for the very generous donation, man. Yes, yes. The Internet Gods Flash Tourney, an appropriate name for today's stream. Almost ready. Perfect. So So here we go, guys. For the armies of tank, front line's going to be zombies and skeletons. Not surprised there. A couple Cryptors are really nice as well. As kind of a high mass poison roadblock with good armor piercing values. So I really like the fact that he does have these Cryptors here. Aside from that, just zombies and skeletons in the front line. He probably has a Sternsman here in the middle, which is somewhat common. It looks like the double Banshee, he's still doing it. So despite the fact that the Drowned and, of course, is going to be a more magic-focused army, he still brings the Banshees, perhaps banking on the fact that the Banshees will trade efficiently with those Paladins. So he has 2 of those, plus a Corpse Guard. I would imagine some Black Knights. Yeah, some Black Knights for harass. A Black Coach on the far side, and up in the sky, he does have a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, which is certainly quite solid. So plenty of AP, plenty of hard punch. We'll see if it's enough to get through the Drowned. Should be quite a bit of fun. All right, guys, and here on the far side, for the Drowned, we got Zombie Power Deckhand mobs, and you see, this is why the Banshees are a little bit risky against King's playstyle. I don't know if Tank has faced this before, or at least from King, but nonetheless, we have a bunch of Sirens, we have a damn Paladin, we have a Spirit Leecher, because again, he's not going with Solastra. Okay, so he actually has a Vampire Fleet Admiral pistols, which, should be good at kind of putting some steady AP fire here onto the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. On the ground, he does also have a Vampire Fleet Captain of Death with Spirit Leech, so it seems like King is very well equipped to deal with the Banshee spam. A bunch of Sirens, a couple Halberds in the back, and it looks like the big old Gallows Giant. And the Gallows Giant, pretty good against vampires. It does, of course, have that discouraging effect in fire damage, so it can do some very, very good work. Yes, it is time, my friends. Let the battle begin. So the vampire counts are surging forward here. You can see some Fellbats, perhaps looking to do some initial scouting, but what I really like about King's build is there's not really too many sweet spots in the army that the vampire counts can really capitalize on. Like, if they want to come in and go fisticuffs, they're going to have to fight hard. There's a Gallows Giant. How are the vampires going to deal with Sirens? I guess the Banshees could deal with the Sirens. What other magic damage does he have? Looks like he has Invocation, Raise Dead, and Dance Kebab, and it looks like the Black Knights are going to be coming in for a free charge here. King's army, one of its weaknesses is that it's not very mobile. So, the Black Knights could certainly come in here and get some freebies. And you can see the Black Knights getting in there, doing some damage, but the Sirens immediately countercharge. And look at the Flamethrower coming in! The most inaccurate Flamethrower I've ever seen there from that Gallows Giant. Just absolute atrocity as it tries to hit the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord and fails horribly. Now, that charge actually went a little bit better for King, I would say. The Sirens were able to take some pretty good damage off the Black Knights. And these guys are going to be pushed back for now. In the frontline fight, Skeletons fighting the Tide of Skill. Tide of Skill, one of the few fights they'll probably actually win, but not if Cryptors are involved. So here come the Cryptors, stacking on top of Skeletons. Classic vampire count move, going all the way back to game 1. Now in the front line here, the Sternsmen are coming in, Cryptors are coming in as well. I'm really eager to see how the Sirens are going to perform here. And you can see that Tank is really teasing here. He's like pretending to charge for the Blood Dragon Lord, pulling out, going back in. But oh yeah, this is a smart play. If he can goon out this Vampire Fleet Captain of Death, that is going to take so much damn pressure off the Banshees. But the Banshees smell blood for sure, and it looks like they're going to be pushing in pretty hard. A Zombie Summon probably following up to Tar Pit and block the Paladin from pursuit. And now Tank is going to be pulling a hard switch, going all in on this damned Paladin here. And you can see the magic damage from the Banshees doing good. A really nice buffering here with the zombies. Beautiful play indeed. Now, if we look around the rest of the battlefield, you can see it's pretty much a wash. I mean, yeah, the Sirens are tanking well, but Cryptors and Skeletons are getting through the chaff. But yeah, the Siren front line, I actually really like that. In my Vampire Coast build guide that I have coming out, I actually do use a couple Sirens against vampire counts consistently. It's very, very strong. The double Banshees are actually losing out on this fight here. Now that we come back around, the Banshees are taking a ton of damage. The damn Paladin doing a ton of work, and obviously there was another Spirit Leech here. So Spirit Leech was able to wear these guys down. The Vampire Coast can also really stack debuffs with Taunt and Hornswoggle, and you can see it's really paying off. Granted, Tank is getting some good revenge as well. He is putting some serious hurt on the Gallows Giant, and the Black Coach is coming in as well. Now, Black Coach does do magic damage, so that is another source of magic to, punch through the damned Paladin and some of these other troops here as the Flamethrower Colossus continues to roast these zombos on the ground. So looking around, it looks like some of the Black Knights have been left in the Shadow Realm, but again, not a big deal. Those guys will come back in a minute, and I'm sure they'll do some good work. Now, really focusing in on the microcosm here. It looks like one of the Banshees may have fallen. Yeah, one Banshee is 100% down. So I think Tank is going to kind of lick his wounds now and fall back and just try and goon out this Gallows Giant, because a lot of the heavy hitters for the Vampire Coast, the Damned Paladin, the Vampire Fleet Admiral, are very slow. So Tank does have the faster character. He can isolate things and potentially get picks on the map that are going to be very, very good. So the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord flying around, going to be dropping a fat breath attack, I would imagine, right down the pipe here of these Sirens, which is going to be very, very strong. So we'll see how that goes. And there it is. Dropping the business here on the Sirens. We also get the Black Coach coming in. That's actually a really good pick by Tank, man. The Black Coach with the extra magic damage is incredibly solid. So zombies around. Yes, there's zombies all over the place. We do have some skeleton warriors here fighting with some zombies. Sirens. Man, Sirens are just doing such a good job. They're holding back like just powerful numbers. And they also do have a debuff on them with the Charmed effect. But really, this is really the epicenter of the battle that we need to focus on. So So here we have the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord and the Banshee going after the Gallows Giant. Now, if the Blood Dragon Lord and the Banshee were able to take apart the Gallows Giant, that would kind of pay for the loss of the first Banshee for sure, but the Flamethrower effect probably doing some friendly damage, but nonetheless a big debuff going down with the Helm of Discord from the Blood Dragon Lord. But yeah, just cycle charge that Lord is by far the best choice. Stearnsman will, metaphorically speaking, hold all day. So somebody in chat asks about the rules. Well, we're using banner rules, and players have 12,400 gold to play with. And yeah, army limits are in accordance with banner rules and engagement rules and all that sort of good stuff. But yeah, we can give you a link later on to show you that. So the Blood Dragon Lord going to be cycling away from the main fight, actually opting not to take the fight versus the big drowned blob over here. And this is actually really scary if this Banshee gets caught. So the Banshee does have 60 speed. The Damned Paladin does have 75 in magic damage. So eventually that Banshee will have to fight. But I wonder if the Banshee could beat the Damned Paladin. Maybe so, considering the Damned Paladin is more of an anti-large character and the Banshee's kind of more of a kind of foot duelist. But let's see, 40, 38, 280. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Damned Paladin might actually still win that. So Tank pulling back very aggressively here. And the Blood Dragon Lord is really going to have to get some goons. Because you can see here the Stearnsmen are starting to get worn down by the Sirens, who do, of course, have pretty good AP values. And yeah, I don't know. It seems like the Drowned is maybe going to be in good shape here. Granted, Tank does have some Crypt Horrors here. And also the Blood Dragon Lord is still super healthy. And on the far side, it looks like the Sirens have been worn down. Okay, so this is actually really good. And Tank was able to get the Black Coach with its mobile magic damage and charge into the Sirens, doing some amazing damage. So I really like that play from him. The Black Coach pick is like, you wouldn't think it's really good against Vampire Coast, just on paper, because it's more of like a, killing infantry. But against like Siren play, it's a really nice like meta pick that really shows that he has solid knowledge of this matchup. Over here we do have the Blood Dragon Lord Heart Piercing and Heart Piercing debuff coming in as well. The Necrofex Colossus down to -1 leadership per second, -7, might actually start crumbling, 2,000 HP. Oh, we have the Duel of Duels. We have the Damned Paladin dueling the Banshee. Ghost on ghost fight. It looks like the Damned Paladin, as we predicted here, is winning 45-40 against 40-38 and better weapon strength overall in the Damned Paladin. And of course, the Banshee has better AP values, but in this duel, it does not matter. And the Damned Paladin just banishes that Banshee to the Shadow Realm. Sent straight to the Age of Sigmar. Beautiful stuff indeed. Now back in the main fight, the Gallows Giant just waddling about, going after the Black Coach. It looks like a big old breath attack coming in. And it looks like for the first time in the game, I don't know. This is just, it's too close to call at this point. I know the Bounce Fire is a little bit favored here, but here comes the Blood Dragon Lord charging down, going after the Gallows Giant. Tank pulling ahead a little bit in the Bounce of Power. However, if he could get some nice damage here in the Blood Dragon Lord with his Admiral and his Deathcaster and maybe the Damned Paladin, just maybe, he could get back in this game. So the Vampires still have Crypt Horrors here. They have a fair amount of chaff, more Crypt Horrors here, and a Black Coach. There's still a lot of power left, and it looks like King's kind of supporting lines are running a little bit thin. He does have the Damned Paladin, he has the Vampire Fleet Captain, but the Gallows Giant is certainly on death's bed here. And Tank has been so good with his Alpha Strikes with his Blood Dragon Lord, just going in for the bread, buttering it up nice and good like. And it's at -19 now, going down very quickly despite the Pim Slap here on the Blood Dragon Lord. Yeah, he's not long for this earth. So with that being said, and the Gallows Giant going down, it's pretty much going to be free range here for the Blood Dragon Lord, because the entire core of the Vampire Coast is going to crumble here. And then from there, the Blood Dragon Lord can simply cycle charge, and he is one of the best duelists in the entire game. And he's going to be able to out-duel the Vampire Fleet Captain, goon out the Vampire Fleet Captain of Death, just instantly almost. And you can see the bounce is really reflecting that. You see one charge right there and 2 charges. Look at that. That is almost like a 2-shot, getting him below 40%. That is just brutality. And he can pull back. He can do that again when the debuffs are active. He has enough units engaged on the ground that he doesn't really have to stay there. He can pull back, do as he pleases. And King of the Dead, though, putting up a great fight with this scrappy Drowned build. His Damned Paladin going down here. That is going to be all she wrote, it looks like. I think so. I don't think King is going to be able to do too much more against Tank's Vampire counts here. But remember, this is game 1 in a best-of-3 series. So we will see how this goes indeed. So here comes the dragon, going in for the kill here. Yes. Good night, sweet Vampire Fleet Captain of Death. The Vampire Fleet Admiral did pretty good, though. I actually like that pick. I think it's kind of cool, getting a steady AP unit that's pretty hard to snipe because it is a foot character. But yeah, the Vampire counts still have the 2 Crypt Horrors. They have the Black Coach. The Blood Dragon Lord is easily just going to feast on the soul here of this Vampire Fleet Captain. The Banishment Age of Sigmar commences. Critical Binding. And there it goes. Army losses. Game 1 is going to be going to Tank of Clan VM. Well played. It's always refreshing to see some good Vampire count play. You don't see them terribly often in tournaments these days. Yes, my friends. Yes. Hopefully that was not laggy. I didn't check during the game. I was trying to focus on the commentary, but we'll find out here in a moment. There we go. Game 1 going to your boy Tank. And welcome to the stream, guys. Welcome, welcome. So let's go ahead and update the scorecard here, and that'll allow me to check my internet also. Oh, no problem so far. God, that is such a good feeling. All right, so Tank is going to be taking game 1 here. Let's update that bad boy. And now we'll switch the map, let the players pick, and let us go ahead and go to Ogum Shard. It's kind of dimly lit. We'll do Tower of Hoeth. And Tank says, this is why I asked. I always take a coach just in case. Yeah, that's really funny. Yeah, the coach was a really good pick from Tank. I think that was by far one of the MVPs there. Yeah, no lag. It seemed good. Austin Jackson says, hey, Turin, thinking of doing a Shogun 2 campaign stream? You know, maybe so. That could be something to think about. So, Durandal, I don't think he waited to commit the Crypt Horrors. I think that the Crypt Horrors were, what's it called? The Crypt Horrors were, they were fighting on the other side of the battlefield. So they made their way across because they were fighting the entire time. Yes. So let me check this stream real quick. Yeah, I did actually change the output of the stream to 720. I didn't need to do that. I did that before just to be safe. How is the quality of the stream though, guys? Hey, Darth, how's it going? Yes, it appears to be working. So if you guys saw my most recent video, or the big list video, I did the best unit for each faction in multiplayer, and that was edited by Darth Pendragon here in chat. So how's the stream quality? Is it really pixelated? Because I'm running on 720 just to be extra safe now. I could rescale it up, but I think that might crash the stream if I do that, is my concern. Sometimes when you rescale during the stream, it crashes it out. I could try and change it. But let me know how the quality is. I know it's at 720 right now, but I was just doing that to be extra safe. Hopefully it's not too bad. All right, so in the next one, we have King of the Dead banning Skaven and Vampire Coast. Yeah, they're doing their picks and bans. He's going Tomb Kings and he's banning Skaven and Coast. And then Tank is going to go Norska, which is usually a pretty good answer for that. I'm pretty sure YouTube allows 1080. Yeah. Yeah, it's clean on your end. Everybody said it's fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I mean, I usually stream 1080 by whatever, but yeah, seems good. Pick quality is great. All right, perfect, guys. Thank you for the kind words there. Let me go ahead and see YouTube's maximum stream quality. What is it even? Yeah, looks like it says you can do some pretty heavy duty streams on YouTube. Yeah, something to think about. All right. Yeah, I think if we went up to 1080, I could try it right now, but I'm afraid it would cancel the stream. Let me go ahead and try it. We're still early on in the stream, so might as well do it. So if I rescale the output, hang on one sec, guys. I'm going to check and see if I can do it during the stream. Rescale output. All right, so I'm going to try and update it and see if that'll fix the quality. Just give me 1 second, guys. Hail the Dark Prince, baby. I know. We're doing it. Okay. So can I do this right now? Use custom buffer. No, that's fine. I don't know if I'm able to switch it during the stream, unfortunately, guys. Hey, Bane. Yes. Yeah, I think I'll need to close the stream, which is, we'll just keep it going. It's fine. It doesn't seem to be too bad. As long as you guys can see what's cracking. All right, guys, game 2. It's going to be Tank versus King of the Dead. And, of course, future streams going forward now that we know it's working for the most part, assuming it stays that way, will be in 1080 and higher. Just for today, I was like, I changed it a couple days ago when I was experimenting just to see. Yeah, my bad. All right, guys, we continue on. The Tower of Hoeth is here. Oh, you know what? Actually, I think with YouTube's new streaming service, I could actually do it without ending the stream. Yeah, I think it's actually possible. I would just have to like close it for a second and then reboot it up, and I think it would still maintain the stream, same stream. Yeah, something to think about. I don't think it would lag, though. Albert, I hope he's in Game 3. Yeah, you know, I've thought about dual streaming on, I think when I move, because Anna and I are planning on moving in the next, like, I don't know, 6 to 8 months. Whenever, you know, it's possible, because right now it's pretty rough to do. I mean, because yeah, Anna's going to have to find, you know, a job wherever we decide we want to move, and I've taken a pretty big hit in my income with all this stuff, and freaking not being able to stream for like 2 weeks really hurt. So yeah, but when we do move, I do plan on maybe like doing a dual stream to see, because I don't think my internet would be very happy about that right now. Nonetheless, let me go ahead and minimize, make sure I didn't put up any stupid screen blocker. It's just the soothing vocal tunes. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate it, man. All right, so after this game, I'll go ahead and look into changing the equality and all that stuff. All right, guys, so here we have it. Marauders for tank in the front line, Berserkers as well. We do also have Wulfric. Wulfric's going to be partying hard up on his giant mammoth. And yeah, Berserker front line with, you know, Wulfric ramming certainly can do some work. Tomb Kings have some anti-mass of their own, and I would imagine King of the Dead will use... This is like the King of the Dead signature play. He always uses the Sneaky Snakes with Halberds. He loves these things. He has Arc in the Black as well, 2 Sneaky Snakes. Looks like on the ground he does also have a Necrotect and a Tomb Prince. And really, I mean, yeah, his whole army is very heavily banked on the snakes. I'm really surprised we're not seeing any Sepulchral Stalkers from him. Yeah, another unit he also really likes, but yeah, I mean, pretty good infantry quality with Tomb Guard, Snake Cav in the back, and that's it, really. For the Force of Norska, it's going to be Berserkers, it's going to be Marauder Hunters with throwing axes. It looks like he has a couple of those. Pretty cool stuff, and yeah, just big old mammoth with a little bit of Fimir support. Very much going to be 2 grindy armies going at it, and this battle, in many ways, is going to come down to how careful tank is with Wulfric. Because the Berserkers and the Hunters will honestly be super good against, you know, King's whole army here. Like, I don't see the Tomb Guard being super effective against Berserkers. But, you know, if the Sneaky Snakes are able to catch the giant mammoth out of the blue and, like, get him to overextend, for example, that would be a way in which the Tomb Kings could potentially win this game. All right, there we go. So Kelleran says, if you're using Streamlabs, be careful of changing resolution midstream. It's bugged out for you? Huh. Oh, I'm not using Streamlabs. I'm using OBS. So we also did miss that tank had a couple skin wolves, and oh no, that's not good for King. And King always really likes to deploy like super far in the corners of the map, and you can see some of the skeleton horsemen here do get caught. Not only by the skin wolves, the premier condom brand of the old world, but also are caught by the Norscan ice wolf. So those skeleton horsemen are going to get hunted into another dimension. On the far side, we do have the Beast of Tashnar from tank also lurking in the back. There's no Shopti Greatbow. A lot of the common things you do see in this matchup are not here for our boy Tank. I know, the live streams are back. It's hard to believe it. Very aggressive play here. King actually getting his Nehekar Horsemen and blitzing past some Berserkers and just charging onto the Marauder Horsemen. I don't think that's worth it. He's going to be losing about 675 gold and only shutting down Marauder Hunters for a quick second. It's really going to be a better play for Tank. Now in the front line, Sneaky Snakes are charging in pretty aggressively, and he does also use Arc in the Black. Skeleton Summon on top of these guys to target them, but maybe using the Skeleton Summon on top of the Marauder Hunters would have been a little bit better. In the meantime, Burning Head coming down. It looks like the Kepler Guard are able to dodge that, so good control by King dodging that. But for the most part, I think the early initial engagements have gone to tank pretty heavily. You can see the Nehekar Horsemen at the back here are taken out pretty bad, and the Sneaky Snakes really just get wrecked by the Marauder Hunters, and Wulfric's being very conservative, which is smart. Like I said, if Tank were to grab Wulfric, for example, overextend, you know, push him to the back lines, and then King was able to get the Alpha Strike with his Necropolis Knights, that would be something that could cost him the game. So here come the Skin Wolves, rear charging into some spears. This could be an opportunity for King to come back here and maybe get a good engagement on them. But nonetheless, it looks like he's going in balls deep in the front, just trying to break down these Berserkers, break down the lines, and maybe allow him to isolate Wulfric. The Kepler Guard, supported here by a Tomb Prince and the Necrotect, able to also do some very, very good work there as well. But oh, nice play by King. He's able to pull back and get on the Skin Wolves. The Condom Wolves are not going to have a good time with this. A ton of anti-large, they're poison, they're also being Spirit Leeched. But Wulfric's coming back to fight as well, and you can see the Sneaky Knights are getting worn down rather quickly. So we look around the battlefield, some loose engagements going on. We do have Tomb Guard fighting here, but the Berserkers and Fimir should make pretty quick work, but somehow the Marauder Hunters are offline. This group's offline, and it looks like the other one actually compromised. So a little bit of a misplay there by Tank by not pulling back Marauder Hunters, leaving them in the front, and now they get cut down by the Kepler Guard. So this is how King of the Dead gets back in the game. And you can see here the big old Wulfric is now fully surrounded. Tomb Prince is hitting him. This is like the dream situation for the Tomb Kings, especially considering the King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion are coming in, but there is also Berserker support and Skin Wolves, so there's plenty of anti-large. But oh no! Is this a throw by King? Arc in the Black here is being chewed on by these Norscan Wolves, the Shaman Sorcerer as well. And you can see the Hunter of Champions is activated. Ah, guys, that's looking pretty grim. I think that's game. You know, honestly, I think King was doing pretty decent with some engagements, but losing, you know, your caster and your lord all in one is going to be too much to come back from. And, Tank is able to just absolutely stomp that character out, and now it looks like King of the Dead has a, you know, he has a good pocket of strength. He has some good characters. Like, had Arkin not been caught in that situation, this could still be a very, very close scrap. But now, without Magic and Wolfric, you know, being healthy, a big old direct burning head coming right down the pipes as well. Yeah, that's really rough, guys. And the Ushabti here, the Ushabti summon has indeed been used here by King, which is just prolonging the inevitable there. But a pretty big misplay letting Arkin get caught, because honestly he was doing pretty good, considering I really thought that Tank had the better army too. Like, his army was more well-suited to defeat Kings. But, you know, obviously with that being said, you know, anyone can still win these games, but unless they're playing Bretonnian to Lizardman. But for the most part, like, that Arkin the Black misplay was brutal. Yeah. And you can see the rest of the army's kind of crumbling now. The Burning Heads and the Sea Fangs just wrecking the Kepler Guard, and that's partially why I don't like the elite infantry against Norsca, because you always see Burning Head, you always see Wolfric's pirate ship, and it's just so hard to keep those Tomb Guard alive through the barrages of fire. And that is going to be a quick 2-0 for our boy Tank. Granted, the first game was very close. This one was certainly very, very one-sided, but good play nonetheless. Good play nonetheless, my friends. And there you have it, guys. Yeah, Tank is an extremely good player, as is King of the Dead, but yeah, getting Arkin caught, definitely quite rough. All right, my friends, we carry on into the sunset. Let us go and update the scorecard. So Tank, currently 2-0 here. We're going to go to the Flash Tourney bracket, and Tank is going to be advancing on to face the winner of Zero and Heydries. So Zero, of course, one of the best Chaos players out there, and Heydries, one of the best Dark Elf players out there. So this is going to be very, very fun to see. GG, guys. See you in finals, Tank. Yeah, the snakes always suck. The snake, I don't like the snake calf. I like the sepulchral stalkers, but I really don't like the, snake calf. All right, so next, Heydries and Zero, we're going to tag those two bad boys in the Discord. Oops, Heydries. All right, perfect. So the boys are all coming in. So Turin, would you go super wide against Norsca army like that? So what I would probably do is use a bunch of like cheap skeletons, like skeleton spears, skeleton warriors, and you need something to kill the mammoth. So for that, I like Ushabti great bows. It is tough to deal with the berserkers for sure, but you can even mix in a couple chariots as well. And sepulchral stalkers in your backline defending is also quite nice, because they can blast the skin wolves and, you know, do some work. It's hard. Well played, King. Well played. So Heydries and Zero are here. The Tower of Poe this set. Heydries starts. Good luck, good luck. Man, it's good to be back streaming. It's yeah, it's been so long. Man. Been a long time, been a long time. All the Chaos Line Warhammer factions, yeah. Chaos is definitely a little bit outdated. Chaos is definitely a little bit outdated. I felt that in their campaign. I was like, oh, this feels old school. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed the Sigvald campaign. The Sigvald campaign was very fun. Yes. Pick and double ban. Banner rules. And we need to change the map, so we'll do Troll Country here for the first one, because we were just on the Tower of Hoth. Turin, is there anyone currently inviting people to the Total War Discord? Yeah, sure. Let me get you an invite, man. So I will set it up here. There you go. So if you guys want to play some multiplayer, that is where we do it. It is a good time as always. I know, Jordan, it's live, man. Greetings, fellow Total War players. I know, man, it's so good to not have any. I mean, I don't want to jinx it. At least we got one best of 3 in. You know, if it lags from here, at least I can sleep knowing that we succeeded in getting one. It's been a while since I could stream on my internet. There's my Stained impression. Okay, Heydries is going to go Empire banning Dwarves and Chaos. And Zero's going to go Lizards. Pretty fun matchup for sure. It is a small map too, something to consider. But we have Empire versus Lizardmen here. And now we need to update the nameplates as we switch back on over. So Heydries is on this side. You guys want to hear more like haggard 90s impressions? All right. Well, I got plenty of them in the bank. Don't you worry. Heydries. And then we got... I think he has the 0 at the end. Liam, I'm glad to hear that. I hope you're doing well. And how is the... how did it look? I know it's at 1280 by 720 right now, but did the video quality look clear enough that you could kind of sit back and watch it and not have to squint? I'm quite curious. Matthew Giannotti says, Turin, I just showed my girlfriend the Lord of the Rings trilogy. She loved it. Did she love it or did you love it? Hopefully she loved it. Because the first thing, when I went to Poland to meet Lady Turin for the first time, the very first night we spent together, we stayed up till like 4 or 5 a.m. binge watching the Lord of the Rings. So basically, I was there for about 5 or 6 days, and I think for the first 3 nights I was there, we watched one of the movies, and I was like, oh yeah, she's a keeper. That's a keeper right there. Yeah. That's a keeper. Don't worry, King. We'll get it in. I didn't prepare it today, so I will for the next stream. All right, perfect. Quality is all good? Okay, great. Thanks, guys. She loved it, Matthew. That's a keeper right there, man. That's a keeper. You want Hoeth? We can do that again. If you both want. I think Heydries thought it was a different map. We will see what the players say. They may be fine on Troll Country as well. How do people manage neck strain? Oh, when they're playing like tabletop? Yeah, my neck actually has been bothering me a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, good, Silk. I'm glad it's good. Perfect, Gaius. Man, a 76-inch stream, that's pretty serious. So Kelleran says, I did a research trip in New Zealand for 6 weeks. You better believe we watched the extended editions every night for 6 weeks. Dude, hell yeah. The extended editions are so good. He says, Troll Country's fine. All right, perfect. So yeah, don't worry, my future streams will all be 1080. But, it seems to be going okay today. Although, honestly, even though when I stream 1080, it doesn't look like it. Like, when I watch it back, sometimes it looks like it's just, like, worse. I'm like, what is this treachery? I don't know, guys. So, assuming all is well, and I'm able to stream the next 3 days without any problems, what we'll do is, I'll probably end up having a faction war this Sunday. I'm really hoping that's the case. And we'll go from there. Jordan, yeah, it's definitely Total War is it has a big learning curve compared to like other games, especially like contemporary, popular titles. But RTS games in general have a high learning curve, and that's why they're not like super popular, in my experience. Like RTS games, if you look back at kind of the history of esports, going back to like 2010, 11, and even 9, StarCraft 2 was the jam, right? Like all over Twitch. StarCraft 2 was the most played game. It was the biggest esport in the world. But then, you saw simpler games start to come out. So you started to see MOBAs and things that were much easier to get into, right? You control a hero that has 4 buttons. You master those buttons. You kind of get topical knowledge of what everyone else is playing, the other heroes, and you're good to go, right? The learning curve, which was much easier than jumping into, StarCraft 2 and micromanagement, macro management, just, the amount of reaction speed you have to have. But yeah, I think that's partially been the downfall of the RTS genre, is that it's learnability. It doesn't pull in as big of audiences because it is much tougher to learn. And, a lot of people in our generation, or at least my generation, grew up, playing these kind of RTS games. So it was popular for that window. But yeah, the MOBA and the more simplistic games certainly took over, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the curve. Granted, we go strong, guys. We fight for the RTS genre. It is my favorite, hands down. I really do enjoy Bannerlord quite a bit. I've been playing quite a bit of Bannerlord on my own, having glorious duels. And the Troll Country is here, the country of trolls. Whenever I see the map Troll Country, it always reminds me of that Avenged Sevenfold song, Bat Country. I don't know why. Shogun 2 is free right now, guys. Also, if you're Shogun 2, I think is one of the best Total War games of all time. Yeah. You gotta check out Shogun 2. If you guys haven't played it and you just came in through Warhammer, it's such a good game. And the multiplayer was so awesome too. The Avatar Conquest mode, like generally in Total War games, I the ones that have like perfectly symmetrical factions, I didn't enjoy multiplayer as much. But in Shogun 2, like it didn't bother me. Like I didn't care that there was so much similarity because the customization you could do through the Avatar system really made your armies feel unique, and the whole veteran system as well. Yes. All right, guys, here we go. It's showtime. For the forces of the Empire, we shall be led by Heydries. We have Gotrek. Front line's going to be swordsmen, great swords. One great sword, actually. Yeah, I like that. I think having one great sword, they can actually beat Saurus pretty well and also do well against Temple Guard. So I think having the great sword pick here is quite good. Classic Outriders in the back line to deal with the big armor. Demogryph Knights with lances, actually. And up in the sky, we have Karl Franz, a Lifecaster, and Gotrek. So very much a pretty heavy metal army, actually. 2 demis. Franz, Gotrek, that's like a lot of heavy punch. Very, very elite empire. As a matter of fact, his army size is only 639. Now for the forces of his foe, Zero. Zero coming in hot in game 1, not going with Chaos. He does have Saurus Warriors into the sunset, so going super wide, really looking to envelop an Empire gunline, it would appear. King Priest of Beasts for Manticore summoning, a Heavens Caster to blast great swords and gun units. In the back, we do have a good old Saurus Oldblood, Pterodon Rider, a single Bastillodon for the chair route, which is really good actually, and a Feral Carno to fight the Demogryph Knights. Good army indeed. Yeah, so Shogun 2 is currently free. If you go to Steam right now, you can download it. And if you download it in the window, it's free. It's only free until I think May 1st or May 2nd. I can't remember. But if you download it before then, you get to keep it forever, which is freaking awesome. Yeah. So definitely check it out, guys. Oh, yes, I live in California. I live in California, my friends. All right, so here we go. Saurus Warriors. Going to be marching forward the Empire with a very elite army, like I said. Demogryph Knights with lances, though, actually have some really good shock damage. You could look at their charge bonus of 60, great AP values, pretty good baseline combat stats. They should be able to actually clear out a lot of Saurus, and I think Heydries has a very well thought out army. But again, there's a Saurus Oldblood, there's a Feral Carno, there's 2 really powerful anti-large characters that are more than capable of dealing with demis, so we'll see how they perform. So Heydries pushing forward. Is he going to be able to protect those Outriders? It doesn't seem like the Lizards have too much mobility. Now, what are those Outriders going to shoot? Initially going after Saurus, and I'm quite curious to see where Karl Franz is going to go. Probably going to go down and just beat down this Bastillodon really quick. Yeah, and you can see the big old Alpha Strikes coming in. Outriders shooting at the Bastillodon. Although, look at this. Okay, so I did not see this. There were Coldland Spear Riders on the flank, so Heydries is going to be screening a Spearman. And are they coming from both sides? Okay, so there actually is an opening for the Outriders to run back this way. But the Coldland Spear Riders are going to be pressing in pretty hard. And you can see the Javelins actually hurting the Outriders. But here comes Franz! Franz going in to goon out the Beastcaster, which is by far the best play. If you can take out the Beastcaster and get rid of it before Manticore summons come in, man, that is so good! A huge misplay from Zero. The Skink Priest gets pushed back, but the Cold One Spear Riders do intercept before he completely gets dumpstered by Franz. But some of the Outriders go down as well, so not the worst misplay. Actually, misplays by both players, because Heydries did not pull back the Outriders. Granted, Heydries may have sent in those Outriders to help buffer his lines, just kind of using them in melee. And, you know, he is able to get the Bastillodon at the same time. His Greatsword's performing well, able to beat down the Saurus in the front, and the Sigmar Sons doing their job as well. And these Greatswords actually still won that fight, despite the fact they were being attacked by a Bastillodon as well. And it's pretty close, actually. They might end up losing it, but it's only because of the Bastillodon. So Franz is going in once again. Galmaraz is popped, and you can see the Saurus Oldblood certainly going to be taking a huge beating here, but the Manticore Summon is activated. Cold One Spear Riders completely shattered. And it seems like the Empire is in a very dominant position right here now. As you can see, the Saurus Oldblood just getting murked by those Demogryph Knights and Franz. The Manticore Summon coming in from Zero a little bit too late. And it looks like his other Feral Carno was perhaps isolated on the other side. A little bit, not doing the most efficient work. Here comes the Feral Carno attacking Karl Franz. Regrowth is active. Galmaraz is still active. And the Empire has that Outrider support. And man, the Sons of Sigmar are just pounding that powder into the dinosaurs here. And this Feral Carnosaur, Armada Convergence will make him quite strong. And the front line of the Empire has kind of faltered. But Outriders with good control should be able to get away. The Dinos have no more mobility. They don't have any Cold One Spear Riders. All they have is Manticore Summons and some Pterodons, which unfortunately Zero has forgotten. The Pterodon Riders would have been a super useful tool at dealing with the of these units and just chasing them. He now realizes this, but I think it's too late. They needed to be dealing with these Outriders while the big Dinos were fighting. So here you can see Demogryph Knights are here. Gotrek is here as well. Karl Franz going to be coming in, dropping that sweet, fat, erect Galmaraz on the big dinos, and bam, he's getting a lot of damage in. Pretty healthy himself. Another regrowth, honestly, will put him in really, really good shape. And it looks like even the third group of Outriders came back, and man, they're just hammering into this Feral Manticore here. They're either shooting that or the other dino, I can't quite tell, but yeah, it's probably the Feral Carno, because the Manticore will disappear itself. And I think that's going to be game 1 for the Empire. Although that Feral Carnosaur did do some really good damage to Franz, and that would probably be one of the few ways the dinos could get back in this game, is if they were able to pop Franz, but I don't see that happening. In the front, dinos eventually getting through Sigmar's Sons, and the Spearmen are kind of wavering against the Saurus Warriors. We have a Jade Wizard fighting in the front. And yeah, Franz is just methodically going through these characters. Gotrek is going to be able to take out the Skink Priest here. If we really zoom in, you can see Gotrek going in there with his big old Axe of Grimnir. Talk about overkill. And Franz just punting that poor little skink on the high ground. But, you know, the bounce power is kind of ebbing and flowing. But Outriders still have decent ammunition. You can see some of these Pterodon Riders are being Last Samurai. Franz able to get this caster. Gotrek able to get this caster. And now what do the dinos have left? A couple Saurus kind of on the wings of the army here. And also some chameleon skinks. So those little skink boys getting their nice little poison darts and blasting into these forces. And Franz flying overhead, perhaps looking to dive on the Skink Priest of Beasts. Yes, and there's no way. Franz is going to get, he's going to get his prize for sure. Demis are still numerous, not healthy. 13 models here, and it looks like here we have another 8. A little bit of charging in Gotrek. I mean, you know, Gotrek could probably just tank and spank these guys, and the Outriders even going into combat. Skinks don't have crazy leadership, so he is able to come in and break them. With the Outrider charge, Franz continuing to hunt here. And the Lizards do have a pocket of strength. I mean, they have some Saurus here, some Skink cohorts with Javelins, but really, I mean, they're not going to be able to do much against Franz. Saurus Warriors are not immune to psychology, so they can be terror-routed, and that is going to be army losses in game 1, going to the Sons of Sigmar and Heydries in this best-of-3 showdown. Ooh, baby. Yeah, Franz is one of the scarier characters in the game in terms of assassin, like going in and just gooning things. He hits so freaking hard. I've often felt it has something to do with his animations as well. We have a donation coming in from Gallahan on the PayPal. Sigvald campaign was just what we needed to get our Slaneshi fix in these trying past few weeks. I got you, Gallahan. Thank you so much for the $7, man. Thank you so much. Heydries going up 1-0 in this best of 3. Let's do it to it. Turin convinced me to buy the whole Gotrek and Felix collection, and I don't regret it. Good books. Yeah, it's really fun. If you're enjoying like Total War Warhammer, they're great reads. One day I'm going to catch the very start of a stream. Well, you're still pretty early. We still have the grand finals, which are best of 5, so that is a thing. So next, let's go ahead and pick the map. We'll do the Essence of Chaos. No, I'm not going to do that to these guys. At least Sword of Torgal. Map set. Zero says nice army. And now they do their picks and bans. Sigmar, bless this ravaged body. Sigmar, bless my ravaged internet, and apparently he has today. Not to jinx it, but we haven't dropped any frames, which is quite the accomplishment. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know when Total War Warhammer 3 is coming out. Hopefully, the sooner the better. The sooner the better. I am so excited. What's going on, Sarmation? Hope you're doing well, man. What can man do against such reckless Franz? I don't know. The Bretonnian peasants are just cheering off the map for the lizardmen going down. They're like, yes, if we can't defeat them, we'll send in our friends from the east. Dude, Tyler, I completely respect that, man. I love the Empire as well. I have a tabletop Empire army. Actually, my Warhammer Fantasy tabletop army is... oh, you guys want the Glacial Lake. We'll get it some point, maybe in the best of 5. All right, so Zero's going to go Skaven, banning Beastmen and Norska. Interesting, so no Chaos picks. Maybe saving them for game 3, but Skaven is like a top-tier faction. Now, I played Heydries 2 days ago. I played Heydries, we were chatting together, and he picked Greenskins against my Skaven. And normally, like with my Skaven, I would say the past, like, probably like 5 times I played Greenskins, I don't think I had lost a single game. I had been stomping Greenskins. But Heydries came in with a build that actually like beat my Skaven. He beat me pretty good too. It was a quick game, and his build was really good. I was not expecting it. So I think we might see something similar. Granted, Zero has a very different playstyle. My playstyle is very predictable, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm excited to see if he brings the same build. Yes. Hey, Vinces, thanks for subbing to the channel, man. I really just want to see Chaos fleshed out because I think there's so much potential for cool units with all the Chaos characters and Chaos gods and like, you know, Mark of Chaos and all that sort of good stuff. So Vince, thanks for subbing to the channel, man. Thank you, thank you. I think it's a clan Zutron. I don't know. I'd have to ask him. I would imagine so. I'm actually going to be doing a video soonish on my predictions for what we're going to get in Game 3. I mean, I think everyone more or less knows, but it's not going to be predictions on what we're getting in Game 3, but more so how I think they're going to be implemented. Yeah. I have a whole rant to go on about that. I just have to come up with like some graphics to show it. Ogre Kingdoms probably will come, and yeah, they're going to be interesting. Because I think, you know, they're obviously all going to be like large, right? because ogres are huge. They're like, Kroxigor size or if not bigger. So I think they'll just have like, the ogres obviously will have a couple cool units, but they're going to have like a big kind of slave system where the ogres have like slave units like that fight with them. Noblars, things like that. Like they'll probably be kind of like Vampire Coast in that way, where they'll have like a ton of like chaff zombies, and the actual vampires will be a very small representation of the roster. So that's my guess for Ogre Kingdom, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, the Empires. Oh man, huge donation coming in from Denick. Thank you so much, man. Hot damn. So this just came in 1 minute ago, just appeared on my feed. Denick says, donates $50. Thank you so much, man. And says, watching your streams and vids since forever. Keep safe during these crazy times. I will. And thank you so much, dude. That's a very generous donation. And yeah, hopefully I can keep streaming. I hope the congestion doesn't strike back and smite me down. Do a Warhammer 3 faction tier list before the game comes out. I actually think that's pretty funny. Aerosmith, like spelled like Aerosmith. Yeah, there you go. I'm a huge fan of Aerosmith, though. I remember one of my first experiences with Aerosmith was I was a sophomore in high school, and I played football in high school. So we were painting the field before one of our games. So basically doing the line markers and everything. Our coach had us do that, and we were all like kind of we had a big game coming up. And I remember our coach rolls up in his truck and is playing "Dream On" by Aerosmith, and I was like, oh, what is that song? That's so epic. Yeah, Aerosmith is awesome. All right, Heydries is ready. The Greenskins will probably bring a similar build. So I'm not going to talk too much about speculation because I probably know what he's bringing. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Dream on, dream on. What's the first faction you'll play in Total War 3? Oh, man. I don't know. It depends, dude. It depends on what they come with. I don't know. That's really hard to say. I really want to play Chaos Dwarves. Ivar, thank you so much. I've actually been watching Vikings and then got Ivar in there. Turn, would you kindly tell my brother... All right, tell your brother Ol. So, Ol, brother of Ivar, you must pay the troll toll, bro, if you want to watch the stream, apparently. Ol, I hope you're doing well, man. Dude, I love the troll toll thing. It's so good. If you guys haven't seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, you got to watch it. It's like one of the best shows ever. Ivar, thank you so much, man. All right, looks like Zero's ready as well. Good luck, have fun. So the winner of this series will be going on to face Tank in the grand finals of today's Flash tournament, the Internet God's Call. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please do drop a like. It helps me out quite a bit. Got to get that hype for the first stream back. It's been weeks, man. I'm like growing my hair. My hair is so freaking long right now. I like the long hair, but part of me is like, I really hope an Everchosen comes soon because so I can get the mullet. I can have the mullet for a couple days and, you guys can laugh at me. And then from there, we can actually get a normal haircut. I am so excited for that. All right, so we're loading into the map. Everything looks good. A-okay. I am resisting the blessings. I am. I'm all good here. Anna and I have been in isolation. We've been hanging out in the shadows. We order everything, we order our groceries in, and when they get in, we wipe them down with alcohol and get we're super intense about it. So, all right, yep, this is pretty much the same build he brought against me. Although I think the Tief Robbers might be a new addition. I don't know if he had that. So basically, what you do is you get a big old rush. So he's got Squig Hoppers, 4 of them. He's got Tief Robbers. He's got Spider Riders. He's got a couple Archers, but mainly just Haggard Goblins in the front line. And you just blitz the Skaven with a big old disgusting, Squig Hopper line. And, honestly, the Skaven have a really hard time stopping it. Rat Ogres can do pretty well. Hellpit Abominations can certainly do well. But if you bring too many missile units against a Greenskin Rush like this, he's got Natty Boobos, he's got Poison Wind Mortars, he's got a couple Skaven Slave Slingers. If you have too many missile pieces, and what's really interesting is this build is very similar to what I brought against Heydries. Granted, I brought a Plague Claw Catapult and a Warp Lightning Cannon instead of a Jezzail and a Mortar team. But aside from that, my army was pretty similar. I had Ikit Claw and a Doom Wheel. I had a Plague Furnace and a bunch of Skaven Slaves, and I honestly wasn't able to defend it. Granted, the map that we were on at that time was a super small map, so he was able to get a really good envelopment on me. This one is much bigger. He does also have Deathmaster. So Deathmaster is another variable. He does have snares. So if Azag comes in, gets greedy, for example, he can snare him down and potentially do some really, really huge damage. Quite excited for this. Quite excited indeed. Kelleran, I'm growing my hair for a sole purpose, like the Urukai, growing it for a mullet. And because basically during the last Ever Chosen, I promised I would have a mullet for the next one. And I challenged Italian Spartacus to come in with Friar Tuck. So we'll see if that actually happens on his end. But he accepted the challenge on stream. And I'm coming in with a mullet, though. So the mullet is happening. For Zero, he's got Council Guard. He's got Clan Rats, a couple Rat Ogres, Slingers, Doomwheel. You definitely need Terror against Greenskins. But Deathmaster is a pretty interesting pick. He can get killed really quickly. He only has 2,900 HP. And with Spirit Leech and Diving from Azag, you can like take him out extremely quick if you're not careful. But again, he hits back pretty hard. If Azag comes down, gets caught in the Sigil, gets punched by him a couple times and some Ogres, that could be a quick game as well. You can see Heydries going for like a Master Vanguard. And Heydries has really good micro too. His control, like, if you look at this army, there's a lot to control. But you guys will see as soon as the battle starts, like this stuff is going to collapse from everywhere and it is going to be terrifying. Man, this is awesome. Check it out, guys. Glorious, glorious mass Greenskin Vanguard. A couple archers hidden on the far side. Azag hiding in the corner as well because he doesn't want to be blasted by the Ikit Zap Zap cannon, which is a super, super common pick in this matchup. Kelleran, you said you watched Ever Chosen a couple weeks ago? Yeah, I'm going to have a sweet mullet for sure. I was thinking of having a mullet before Tiger King came out. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely have the genetics for a mullet. I have some serious rednecks in my family. Like half my family are really like country folk and the other half are like New York City Italians. It's a very, very strange mix. Anyways, the Greenskin's coming in with a big old Zerg. You can see here, the Squig Hoppers, oh man, just every direction is going to get pressured here. The Doomwheel's coming, the Moon Howlers thinking about charging in, but pull back when they see the Doomwheel coming in, the Mortar shooting as well. This is a lot of pressure, guys. Azag flying in, taking some shots from the Jezzails, but he should be okay if he jukes. And the Greenskins now committing. Spider Riders charging into Skaven Slaves. Here, Spider Riders doing the same thing with Squig Herds, or Squig Hoppers. Yeah, it looks like Squig Hoppers. So Skaven Slave Spears, not going to hold too long, especially when they are poisoned. So those boys are going to be having a bad time. So immediately the Skaven defenses on this side completely crumbled. Granted, those are just Skaven Slaves. It's not really a huge deal. In the back of the Doomwheel is caught by some Skulkers in a smoke bomb effect, and you can see some of the Squigs are charging in. Oh, but this is a beautiful play here by Zero. He got all of them blobbed up on the Doomwheel, and now the Mortars are just raining fire. That is actually a really, really good play. I don't know if it was intentional. It looks like it was, but nonetheless, Heydries is getting bombed right here by those Mortars. On the flanks, though, you can see the Spider Riders are able to chase off Slingers, and it's kind of like peeling layers from a lollipop, basically, trying to get into the juicy center here and get on top of the Poison Wind Mortars and the Jezzails, and it looks like he kind of is. But the Skaven are holding well, able to force back the Squig Hoppers here with some Clan Rats. Ogres being dragged down by nasty Skulkers while the Wa is active. And in the back, though, I don't know, Heydries probably still came out ahead there. I mean, getting the Doomwheel down is so good, but the Deathmaster Sigil is active. Currently, Azag is snared, but I don't think Deathmaster is going to be able to get to him. The snare is only 7 seconds, and like there was a whole bunch of blocking Squigs there. And the Doomwheel's broken, so now Heydries will probably get Azag and go chase that Doomwheel off the battlefield. On top of that, we do also have nasty Skulkers on top of the Jezzail. So a couple of these shanking goblins with their prison shanks are going to be able to cut through the Jezzails very easily. So that's a pretty much worst case scenario. Heydries also coming in with Spider Riders, and he does get on top of the Mortars, and it very much felt like this in my game as well. I remember thinking I was winning, and then suddenly, there's just stuff all over my missile pieces. And the Natty Booba Sharpshooters are in a lot of trouble. Spider Riders on top of them. Here the Greenskins are pushing in as well. And you can see the Council Guard are being worn down by a lot of Greenskin Daka. And Azag is now coming back. I believe the Doomwheel has been chased off. It is shattered. Azag's coming for blood now, and I'm curious what he's going to snipe. Deathmaster is still here. And the Skaven still do have a Plague Priest. They still do have a Plague Priest with the Mortis Engine effect, which can drain down all these guys. Deathmaster's here, but Deathmaster is not going to have a good time versus Azag. He's going to have to catch him in a really good snare. I was going to say, the best bet for this Skaven might be to get the big old furnace here and get it on top of the Council Guard and just try and Helm's Deep there, but I don't know if that's going to work. And right now, Heydries is just methodically going after these targets. He takes out the Ogres here, able to chase them down with Azag. Deathmaster comes in, but I mean, there's so many Goblins nearby, I would imagine some Night Goblins will be applying poison to him. We'll see, yeah, and you can see he's going to get slowed and poisoned here, and Azag just pulls back up in the sky. This build is so strong from Heydries. There's so much. I think the way you beat it with Skaven is to go with a super heavy, like, grind army, so you bring, like, 4 Rat Ogres, 2 Hell Pits, a Plague Furnace, and you just, like, push back. Because even if they swarm you with Squig Hoppers and stuff, they're not going to win against Hell Pits, Ogres, and, like, draining effects. But, I mean, most Skaven players are so ingrained to bring Jezzails and Mortars and, it could Zap Cannon in this matchup that, the builds, like what Heydries brought, is so damn strong. Anyways, Azag here, hunting down the Rat. You can see we do have a healthy Deathmaster. He's not taking too much damage yet. I mean, Azag's probably just going to pull back and Cycle Charge. Honestly, just finish off the entire Skaven army, just swarming them with Goblins, and then when you do that, just Cycle Charge. And the Goblin Archers still have really good ammo as well. And as a matter of fact, the Council Guard are down to 20 models. Night Goblins might break here. They are wavering, but yeah, Council Guard only have 16 models, going down very quickly to that saturated fire from Heydries. Goblin Archer Core. In the meantime, Azak coming in, not going after Deathmaster. Looks like he is going after the Plague Priest, and there is a summon of some Plague Monks. Zero not out of this game quite yet, but I feel like it's very heavily in the favor of Heydries. Yes, the bounce power does show that, but there still is a Plague Furnace, and, you know, Deathmaster can get a good snare, and things can change for sure. Greenskins, if they lose their leadership, can really struggle. So the Council Guard taken down to the last man. You can see he's in a little bit of trouble, and now the Greenskins shall surge forward. Night Goblins, Squig Hoppers, the boys are back in town. And they're probably just going to shoot the Plague Priest. I mean, just shoot the Plague Priest, wait out the summons, and then from there just use Azag to finish off, you know, the Priest here. And leave Deathmaster for Azag in the endgame. So the Plague Monks are fighting, and right now, good play by Heydries. I don't know, he's pulling back with most of his stuff. A couple Squig Hoppers do engage, trying to get a little bit of free damage here on Deathmaster. Deathmaster is not immune to Psychology, so he could be terror routed by Azag as well, which would be super punishing. Here comes another charge. Does he make contact? It looks like Azag does kind of miss that charge, and this is a scary situation for Azag. You know, he's trapped between two single entities with summons as well. If Zero does have a snare right now, that would have been the time to use it for sure, but it looks like he didn't have it off cooldown. Or else I'm certain he would have used it. So we also have some gold Chevron Night Goblins coming in, so the Night Gobos should be able to jump in and yeah, clear out any of the chaff. We have some Skaven Slaves coming back in. We also have some Clan Rats. All right, so there's a little bit of a pushback from Zero, but yeah, the Plague Furnace is so low. And now the Goblin Archers are in position, and there's a lot of them. I mean, full health too. And all of them are at like half ammo. You'd think they'd be less. But, you know, those little goblins certainly can carry quite a few arrows. Azag going for the safe play in the meantime, going after the Rat Ogres that are trying to get back into the battle, which is 100% the right play. Because you don't want to let the Skaven gather their forces and have like a Death Star on top of the Plague Priest, which of course does have a more dissension / draining effect. So the Goblins here doing a great job just kind of cutting through the Skaven support. Some of the Skaven Slaves are able to push back the Goblin Archers for a moment, but now you can see all the Archers of the Greenskins are going to be functional. Azag comes in, just goons the Plague Priest, and that is going to be army losses and a 2-0 victory for Heydries. Masterful Greenskin play. Chat, if you guys wanted the Greenskins to win, let us hear your best wah in chat, and we shall go from there. That was some really good play. Both players, I like the builds. Honestly, that's like similar to a build I would have brought with what Zero, but yeah, after facing Heydries in that same build, I was like, yeah, man, I just got to rethink the way I play against Greenskins. I really do. All right, great build indeed. And now, my friends, we go into the grand final, so let's go ahead and update the bracket. And we're going to get our boy Heydries to face Tank. A competitive duel of duels. Here we go. All right, GG. So let me go ahead and message Tank, tell him it's time. We have a donation coming in from Ruben. Thank you so much, Ruben. He says, looks like the streams are back on the menu, boys. I know. Looks like streams are back on the menu, boys. They are, and thank you so much for the generous donation, Ruben. They are back. The boys are back in town. We have another donation right after the glorious Ruben. He's from Gallahan. Please do not describe Skaven as juicy and delicious lollipop ever again, or do your stream rules. Gallahan, thanks. I know the lollipop metaphor might not be the best for Skaven, or for dwarves for that matter. But this is going to be best of 5. So this is best of 5 single bands. If game 5, we do 3 pick system. So in the best of 5, we do single bands because otherwise you just kind of run out of factions and it becomes ridiculous. So we'll do the which map have we not done today? Shall do River Amazon, which is a good map. This is a really good map, actually. So we'll have Heydries start. Actually, Tank starts. All right, guys, best of 5 showdown. Thank you all so much for your support today. It means a lot. These were some dark times in the past couple weeks. And just got to update the nameplate here, and we can jump back in. And let us go ahead and get Tank going. This side. Our boy Tank is going to be facing off against Heydries. Had a very impressive 2-0 victory earlier against King. Both players coming off 2-0s against very, very talented tournament players. So Tank is going to go Norska and ban Greenskins. Interesting. I always felt like Norska and Greenskins had a fun scrap, but yeah, I guess he knows Heydries is a very proficient Greenskin player. It would appear. So yeah. He's going Norska, and he's banning Greenskin. So now Heydries is on the pick here. We'll see what he goes with. He's that guy. It seems like it's working now. I haven't had any problems today. Liam, I've thought about dual streaming on Twitch, but I love streaming on YouTube. This is like, I feel like this is family here, you know? Maximilian, got to go to school. Stay safe, man. Get some rest. Yeah, it's getting pretty late. It must be like 9, 10, 11 in Europe. But if this stream does, yeah, best of fives usually take about 30 to 45 minutes with the whole picking kind of included. So we'll see. Unless it's like a quick 3-0. But I don't see that happening here. They're both really good players. So he's going Lizards. Heydries going Dinos. Okay, so we have Dinos versus Norska. It's a fun matchup. You have the Dino Hunters themselves on the prowl. Oh, yeah. Well, you see, a lot of players have like, okay, so in best of fives, like on average, you probably only have to play like 4 games. So like most good tournament players like are really skilled with between like 3 to 5 factions or 3 to 6 factions out of the 15. I normally stream at 720 or at 1080, but I just did this today just to be safe because my internet was having problems. But I could switch it, but I would have to stop the stream, and I don't want to do that. Keller, and I know that's my biggest motivation for growing my hair long is the fact that I could look like Boromir. Paul, you'll dual watch, huh? Yeah. I know. That was something I was telling Anna. I was like, you know, maybe I want to grow my hair long in case I ever can ever appear at a casting call for the Lord of the Rings TV show. Then I would be a candidate, right? Yeah, there's been a couple of guys, Theon, who've done pretty well on Twitch with Total War. But what ended up happening is there's one guy, I forget his name. Oh, man. But there was a guy on Twitch who started off doing like Total War streams when like Warhammer 2 came out. And he got relatively popular and got a bit of a cult following. But he stopped pretty much playing Total War games once he got big and like switched on to other stuff that was more popular on Twitch to kind of, you know, stay with the times. Yeah, that, and I don't know. I'm very much into just playing Total War. Although, yeah, I'm open to playing other games as well, but yeah. Yeah, my connection should be good from here on out. I think we're fine. I will have a better stream quality next stream. I was just playing it safe today. We have a donation coming in from Aerosmith. Big fan of your content. I'm a cute woof woof. All right, thank you, man. Don't know what that means, but I'll take it. Oh man, I always, whenever I watch Lord of the Rings, I'm like, why couldn't I've just been some haggard guy on the wall of Helm's Deep just getting owned. Yeah, there's not too many. I'm trying to think like, and you guys can discuss this with me. Okay, it looks like the players are ready. Who on Twitch streams Total War exclusively on Twitch and pulls like really big numbers? I'm curious. Is there anyone who like streams mostly Total War? Like I'm talking 80% Total War and gets like over, 1,000 viewers per stream, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I've seen it too much. Because I do check every now and then because I'm curious. I'm like, oh, is there anyone else playing like multiplayer stuff? Facebook gaming. Well, what was happening was, I know, YouTube is the Shire. We have such a good community here. But what was I going to say? I had some like thought. Yeah, so Facebook gaming, what they were doing a while back, and this was years ago. I can't remember. I was doing YouTube at the time, but they were actually paying like huge content creators to stream exclusively on Facebook gaming for like a month just to try it out. And it was actually a pretty good amount of cash they were paying people for that kind of short-term trial. I don't know if they do that anymore. Stian says some people get like 10. Well, Kitek94, I'm pretty sure Legend of Total War streams on YouTube primarily, right? Does he? Because I see his streams on YouTube all the time. I don't see them on Twitch. I know a ton of Total War content creators do very well on YouTube. My question was focused towards Twitch, or maybe he dual streams on both. Yeah, because I don't think Legend of Total War uses Twitch. Like, I see his YouTube streams. Yeah. Kelleran says, dude, did you know the New Zealand military were actually a lot of extras in that? Oh, that's awesome, man. Someday I might do modded campaigns, but now, guys, it is time for the grand finals of today's Internet Gods tournament. We have Heydries on the Lizardmen facing off against tank. Truly a tank with Wulfric over there. And now for Heydries, let's take a look. He's got a Dread Saurian, he's got Star Chamber Guardian, Skink Cohorts, and Sara Spears, a Skink Chief on a Stegodon, the Dread Beast itself, and Lord Mazdamundi, who I would imagine is going to be casting Apotheosis and Nets in those big monster fights. And aside from that, he's got a big Air Force of Pterodon Riders. So normally, like if you're sitting here, he would have to go and attack. But since he has the Pterodon Riders, he can go harass with them and force Norsca to come to this entrenched position, which is going to be very tough for Norsca to crack. But the mighty Dread Saurian is here, guys. It is here indeed. And now, for the forces of tank, we have Wulfric, the Wanderer. The Wandering Man is back in business, boys. We've got a Feral Manticore, a couple Javelins, Throwing Axes. This is actually a really good pick by tank. Obviously, if the Lizards want to just Helm's Deep it and chill here, having all the Marauder Hunters and Throwing Axes is going to be really useful for bunker busting that. But my concern is that the 4 Pterodon Riders will bully this Manticore out of the skies, and then they can really harass the throwing pieces, because the Lizards will not win, or the Norskins will not win that fight in melee there. We got Wulfric, we got a Deathcaster with Spirit Leech, some Ice Trolls, which is a fun pick. And okay, a second Manticore. That's actually pretty good and pretty clutch. We have Maws of Savagery and some Beasts of Tashnar. So having the double Manticore is really big. If he just had one, it would be tough. But basically now he can have the Manticores each chase a Pterodon Rider. And, it'll be a little bit trickier for the Pterodon Riders to take on 2 Manticores, which then buys time for the Javelins and the Throwing Axes to really shine. Good luck, have fun. Looks like fun indeed. Yeah, for sure. I would consider it. I mean, YouTube's my home though, for sure. I love YouTube. But yeah, YouTube is has its issues for sure. Like the thing about YouTube is your income is basically dependent on, of course, stream donations are a huge part of it. And right as I say that, oh my god, a fat $200 donation. Holy shit. I was about to say, and donation, I literally just said stream donations are a huge part of it, and then a fat 200 one comes in, but nonetheless, it's based on your seasonal CPM. So you get like a certain rate for the advertising on your videos based on like the time of year and how much advertisers are paying. So some parts of the year is really bad. I think that's why Twitch is can be considered a very consistent platform. Holy shit. Okay, so let me just read this real quick. Tanner Mitz, I have to go finish off some assignments for college. Absolutely love your content. Watching you has improved my gameplay quite a bit because you clearly explain what is good and what is bad and why. Thank you and good games. Dude, thank you so much, Tanner. That is super generous. Yeah, man. All right. Thank you, man. Good luck in college. We'll be here for you. I got you covered. More knowledge on the way. And the battle here, you can see a Spirit Leech going down here on the Pterodon Riders. Yeah, sorry, that took me back. Thank you so much, man. That's very generous. Oh, nice rock drop. The Palhawks of Sentinels fly right over the head of those Marauder Hunters with Javelins and just dropping bows on those guys. Just dropping absolute bows. That is extremely brutal. But nonetheless, the harassment still coming in from the Pterodon Riders, which is forcing Norsca forward. Tank really doesn't want to have to fight here. Obviously, this is really bad because Shield of the Old Ones can come down, basically buffing everything. The Dread Saurian's going to be able to bully the Mammoth. And yeah, it's just not a good situation for the Norskins because their infantry is going to be extremely ineffective at fighting in this choke. Net of M-Shock going down right here. You can see on the Feral Manticore. There's a fair amount of Winds of Magic invested, but the Manticore is getting taken out. And what he's trying to do right here, guys, is he's trying to actually rampage the Feral Manticore. Because if he can rampage the Manticore, it'll just meet its doom at the teeth of that Dread Saurian. And now it's rampaging. That's exactly what he wants. But it did cost him. Some of the Pterodon Riders did go down pretty hard, but now this Manticore is rampaging, and it's out of control, which means it's going to fly into the maw of a Dread Saurian. It's a pretty, actually, comedic thing to think about, right? Like, the Manticore just, flying into the open mouth of a Dread Saurian. Oh, nice ruination of cities. Look at that, going right into those Marauders there, but the Manticore is actually still flying. It's now wavering, so it's rampaging, but not where the Lizards want it to rampage. It's actually rampaging after the correct target. So that's actually really fortunate here by Tank. Normally, I've seen the Manticore fly into the maw of its prey. And it looks like some Skink Cohorts have been sent forward. I think that Heydries is doing this to try and force a blob from Tank, at which point he can drop... Oh, nice Sea Fang right there. Sea Fang goes down from Tank, hitting those Star Chamber Guardians, which are a very valuable unit. But nonetheless, the Manticore is doing good work. This one is wavering. -5, -9. Man, and the Manticore is broken. So one Manticore is offline. Probably will be chased off by the Pterodon Riders that only have 4 models, and now the other Pterodons probably going to focus very heavily on the Feral Manticores. The Banishment Bait did go out. Looks like it did some okay damage. Mazda only has 3 kills, so probably not that much damage. And another Spirit Leech going down. So the Spirit Leeches aren't being used to actually take out the Dread Saurian. Probably thinking that Apotheosis will simply heal it up. He's just using it to get rid of the Air Force to allow his Manticores and other units to shine. But now this is really good for Tank. He has some Marauder Hunters throwing their shield-breaking, armor-piercing axes into the Star Chamber Guardians. This is really, really valuable. Like, every morsel of damage he gets here is going to be super clutch. And yeah, the Pterodon Riders are still being forced back, and the Pterodon Riders are the mobile answer to deal with some of Tank's missile pieces. And let's look at the rest of Tank's army. In the back, he does have his Marauder Hunters with Javelins, his Werewolves, and his Trolls, and also the Shaman Sorcerer of Death is kind of lurking on the wings here. And yeah, I don't know. Hard to say, guys. Those throwing axes are just doing the work of the gods here. Marauder Hunters taking down half the HP, more or less, off the Star Chamber Guardians. And it looks like, yeah, there are 2 groups of those. That is so damn good. Also, those Marauder Hunters are going to be really good against the Dread Saurian's armor, which it does have 100 armor. This thing is quite fat. Pickled Buddha! Thank you for the $5, man. Really appreciate the donation. That is super generous, man. And we shall see if the Norskins or the Lizards shall be pickled here in this game. Nonetheless, Hunters are falling back. Lizards are on the offensive now, realizing that kind of the gambit of having the Air Force dominate isn't paying off. I mean, both Manticores are now back. You can see the other one coming over the sunset like the Rohirrim here. Going to be charging in and probably chasing off the Air Force of the Lizards, which is the only thing really that can deal with these ranged units. Dread Saurian's now taking a bunch of throwing axes. We also have Ice Trolls. We have a Maws of Savagery here. We have so many troops that can basically just hold back the Lizard advance. And yeah, the throwing axes are just buttering that bread. See the Star Chamber Guardians here very low. Maws of Savagery charging into the flank, trying to get on top of the Skink Chief. And some Marauders are now going to be tar pitting the Star Chamber Guardians. So finally, Heydries does get the shield of the old ones. Manticores are rampaging in the best possible place. They're rampaging after the things that they need to kill. Because, you know, again, otherwise the Pterodons would just attack the Marauder Hunters in melee combat. They would drop rocks on them. It'd be a tough situation. It would be a tough situation indeed. But so far, I think Tank is in a pretty commanding position. The Dread Saurian, despite the shield of the old ones, is just being taken down. And, you know, I used to think Marauder Hunters with throwing axes were terrible, but they did get a buff to their ammunition. They used to only have 5 ammo. And you can see now they're at half ammo. And they have 7 or 6. So I think their baseline is like 15 now. They got a huge buff, and the weakest part was their ammunition. But now that they've gotten that changed, certainly not a bad unit in some matchups. So Marauder Hunters going in, bringing down the Dread Saurian. He is very, very low. Nice management, though, from Heydries here. But Wulfric is now going balls deep on the Salon here. And you can see Cold Blood is one of the few reasons he's still standing. The Dread Saurian's broken. The Skink Chief is being dragged down by a bunch of werewolves trying to sell their condoms. And yeah, the Skink Chief is down. That is going to be game 1 for Tank. A very impressive victory. Just picking apart that Lizardman defensive build. I mean, that was a masterclass. Well played indeed. Very well played. That is game 1 for our boy Tank in a best of 5. And Tank was on the first pick too, I believe. Which is actually, if you can win on your first picks, because your opponent basically gets to counterpick you. That's really, really big. So Tank is going to go up game 1 here. Let's update that. Ha-boom. And again, I just want to sincerely thank Tanner Mitz for the 200, dude. That is, sorry I didn't get to thank you enough in the game, but that is super generous, man. And I hope everything's well. Hit me up anytime you have questions, and cheers, man. Really appreciate it. Pickled Buddha. Yes, the streams are back. They're here, hopefully to stay. We've made it pretty far. We've made it pretty far here in this glorious journey. The Dread Saurian is not bad. It's not like a complete meme. But Tank had a really good answer for it. And hey, you can see that Heydries even says, perfect game, man. Perfect game. Like, just... And it's funny because right before this started, Tank was like, oh, I'm really out of practice. I'm rusty. I'm not going to play well. But he appears to be playing really well. And Tank says, key thing are with axes, you can miss Metalcaster. And Death are very good versus Pterodons. Yeah. My Pterodons didn't follow the chase order on your matches. Yeah. Man. Really good play from Tank. That was a masterclass. I don't think the Dread Saurian needs any changes, really. It has its applications. I mean, Tank just really handled it really well. Falcon certainly can make the Dread Saurian work, and Falcon can make most things work against most players because he's so good. That's the thing with Falcon. He's a wild man. So tomorrow, for anyone who's hanging out in the stream, we'll be back with a Bannerlord stream, if my internet permits it. Hopefully it will. It seems like it's okay from here on out. And then on Sunday, I'm going to see if all the players are available for the faction war. Yes. Yeah, the Dread Saurian is a bit of a niche unit, but it can do good in some matchups. But yeah, Tank had the answers, and he played really well. All right, so Heydries is going Tomb Kings and Ban and Chaos. And we got a Dwarf pick from Tank. Nice. Great picking here. Dwarves are... I'm surprised. I always felt Tomb Kings have... Like, Dwarves are harder, but maybe he's doing that based on how Tank plays. So we have Dwarves versus Tomb Kings. This is hard. Dwarves definitely have the advantage here. But nonetheless, it's still winnable. Tomb Kings have a ton of great armor piercing, but we'll see how Heydries does it. Pillar Bone is a small map too, so maybe a Tomb King's Rush could be really good here. Yes. Yes, it is time. What's going on, Zero? Dread Saurian is the best unit in the game against Cav. See, I am a very poor Lizardman player. They're probably my worst faction, so bear with me, guys, as I don't have too much profound knowledge in pertaining to the Lizards. I did use them in a tournament a couple weeks ago when I was playing my son Herbert Walker against his Greenskins, but I know a couple builds. Like, I know a Lizard build against Coast and against Greenskins, but aside from that, I'm pretty poor. Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable in a lot of matchups. Jack Ray, no, we're just streaming on the YouTube right now. Once I move and get a better, like, solid, like, fiber internet connection that has, like, more than 50 upload, I will consider doing, like, dual streams, because I know it can be taxing. I know Twitch has some, like, cool interactions, though, for sure. Like, I know they had some cool stuff with, like, Magic the Gathering Arena, and Vermintide had some cool stuff where, like, the people watching could, like, vote on your stuff you had to fight. Yeah, there's some goodies. I know, I'm sure everybody's itching for the next Warhammer DLC. When you start seeing a lot of speculation videos from, like, creators, like, trying to guess, that's how you know it's, like, desperate times. You know? Yeah, the Dread Saurian is pretty good. It is good indeed. All right, so it looks like the Dwarves are ready. Tomb Kings making their final tweaks. I have a feeling Heydries is going to go for a new Ushopti rush. I think we're going to see, like, 4 Ushopti, 2 Tomb Scorpions, like 2 Necrotechs. Because the Necrotechs actually are pretty good against, like, Dwarf Infantry, because they have BVI, which is bonus versus Infantry. So I think we'll see a new Ushopti Tomb Scorpion rush with maybe, like, some Nehekar Horsemen to, like, harass, and some Carrion to chase Gyrocopters. That would be my guess. Tank is just going to go for, like, Longbeards, probably, Trollhammer Torpedoes, the standard stuff. Oh, Romulan. Thank you, man. Yeah. I felt kind of bad, too, though, Romulan, because I know Herbert Walker had just finished, like, a 4-hour stream or something, and he was, like, super tired when we played our games. That's because I know how that is. Like, if I have to play after a stream, I'm like, man, it's so much harder. But yeah, it was a great series for sure. He's a really good player. He's crushed me before on ladder. Hope you're doing well, Romulan. And here we are, Dwarves versus Tomb Kings. Heydries certainly in a precarious situation. So I was wrong. I mean, okay, 3 Ushopti. I was close to being right. No Tomb Scorpions, though, so I like the Tomb Scorpions because they're smaller targets, but the Cambrian War Sphinx is far more mobile. So he's got 3 Ushopti, a Chariot, Cambrian War Sphinx, 2 Skeleton Archers, and in the back we have double Necrotect and Arc in the Black. So not on foot, actually, going on the Chariots, and that's pretty good. Single entity Chariots are one of the best ways to beat Dwarves. So he does have a couple of those. Now for the Dowie, we do have a cannon up on the high ground, it looks like. So a cannon, and it looks like a cannon, so double cannon. Giant Slayers, Dragonback Slayers, and more Giant Slayers. 2 Thunderers, and in the front line, it's going to be Longbeards and Dwarf Warriors. You don't really have to care about winning the front line engagement. It's so heavily favored for your front line if you're Dwarfs. So honestly, Dwarf Warriors can hold back like Tomb Guard for quite some time. Yeah, it's a nice build. Nice build by both players. It is indeed. Maximilian, you can't sleep because of your roommate. Okay, so when I was in college, I had a roommate, and this dude was like easily like 400 pounds, like a giant guy. And he was like just giant. Like, I think he was like 6'5" or 6'4" or something, 400 pounds. He was definitely obese though. And this gentleman had the most nasty snoring I had ever endured in my life. So in my final semester of college, I moved into the living room because it was so bad. I literally like had a cot in the corner of our living room in a shared 4, there was 4 people there because the snoring was so foul. Oh God. Not to mention the smell, but that's a whole nother beast. Oh, got it, Max. Got it. Yeah. Snoring is, oh my God. I literally have like trauma from that. And now I get it again because what happens now is Wookie comes in the room, my dog, and he sits under the bed and he crawls in so deep that I can't get him out. And then he snores like super loud. Yeah, man. That was something, all right. That was something. All right, guys. You see the build. The dwarves, of course, taking a very nice defensive position. This is good, too, because if the Tomb Kings get their constructs back in the trees here, they will, of course, have some issues and get stuck on the trees. Maybe allow the Giant Slayers to wrap them up, which is really good. Nice defensive posture, for sure. I usually play dwarves a little bit more spread out, but it seems like he wants to play a high and tight game. And yeah, Heydries, for the most part, hiding on the far side, which is actually... He doesn't know where his opponent's deploying, but this is going to be rough for him. Yeah, like, he needs to get... like them over here, because the cannons are going to be able to pepper them as soon as they come out. And this main force is not going to be enough to break the dwarves. Could be tricky. Yeah, he was probably a follower of Nurgle Kitek. Dude, it was an Ogre Kingdom, bro. I was living in the lair of the Great Maw, the Ogre Kingdom den. I have so many absurd stories from college. Oh my god. Yeah, I could go on. I probably shouldn't. Okay. Anyways, guys, we're here in the battle. The cannons are shooting downtown, and they are peppering into the Ushabti. Looks like the Ushabti aren't taking too much damage, but now Heydries is emerging. So I wonder if the Dwarven cannons from tank will switch their sights onto the chariots here. Giant Slayers, though, are going to be really nasty. So if you use a Rune of Wrath and Ruin, and then the Giant Slayers are able to wrap up on one of the Tomb King's constructs, that could be very punishing for sure. But, you know, I do think this is a very Dwarven-favored matchup. Maybe like 60 to 40. Still doable for Tomb Kings. But I'm quite curious to see if Heydries can pull this out, because it's a matchup that I always feel confident with Dwarves against Tomb Kings. Like, I can't remember the last time I've really been punished soundly by Tomb Kings in this matchup. But the Tomb Boys are marching forward. The Ushabti getting ready to party as well. Skeleton Chariots hiding behind this kind of pillar of bone right here. And so far, Heydries hasn't taken too much damage. I mean, the Necrotechs have gotten a little bit of poke, but the cannons, yeah, that's every one of these shots you take is quite painful, but so far he's been able to dodge them. Also, what's really nice about Ark in the Black is he is going to be able to drop a Skeleton Summon right on top of the cannons to shut them down. So if you can get like a really good Skeleton Summon on the Thunders and the cannons here, that could be really nasty. Oh no, you got to be careful! Rune of Wrath and Ruin could go down an Ark in here. The Ushabti are turning sights, the cannons are going. I wonder if we're going to see it. Giant Slayers are here as well. Okay, he's going after the Necrotech. He's not going after Ark in the Black. The cannon has not ripped the shot quite yet. Oh man, there it goes. Rune of Wrath and Ruin is active as well. And the Ushabti and the Skeleton Summon are active. So that was a really clutch dive in by the Ushabti there, because those Thunders would have just absolutely punished that Necrotech. And honestly, you got away pretty good considering the circumstances. So in the back, Skeleton Chariots lurking in the shadows. The Dwarven Thunders are shooting into the Ushabti, doing some substantial damage. Now the Giant Slayers and Dwarf Warriors are stacked on top of one another. You also have to remember Grombrindle is here as well. And he's probably going to drop a Smoke Bomb right now, just to kind of slow down these troops. Yeah, oh, nice Smoke Bomb right there. It hits everything. It hits the Khemrian War Sphinx. It hits Arkan. It hits the two Necrotechs. That is super clutch. And now this Necrotech is certainly in the danger zone, as I believe the cannon is still shooting him. Yeah, the cannon is actually shooting that Necrotech like point blank. There's Giant Slayers with full-on grudge chubs right here. And honestly, I think this Necrotech's going to go down. You can see Grombrindle's here. Let's see if he's able to get the blow. Gromby's like hidden amongst these Ushabti right here. So he might be able to get it. Yeah, that Necrotech is down for the count. The cannon was shooting it from the high ground. So now the Khemrian War Sphinx up on the hill is going to be trying to shut down that cannon, but there's still so many Slayers. The Dragonback Slayers here doing a great job, but Heydries with a very good counterplay. Skeleton Archer shooting into Slayers is super cost effective. Is this guy going to live? Negative 25. He is crumbling. I'm surprised he hasn't crumbled down yet. 94, negative 25 leadership still. He is probably going to be going down for the count. Nice play, though, getting that cannon offline for a quick moment. We do have some Skeleton Warriors pushing in, but Tank is able to rally some Dwarf Warriors. Up in the high ground, really good play, actually, from Heydries. Looks like his Ushabti and the Skeleton Chariots were able to break the Thunders and also break the cannon. So that's a really good 2-for-1. And honestly, I think Heydries might be able to pull this one out if he can keep collapsing like this. Fate of Buna going down to the Giant Slayers. Grombrindle has no fear activated as well. So Heydries has really only taken a ton of damage on top of his Necrotech and some Ushabti, but the Khemrian War Sphinx is still very healthy. And the Skeleton Archers here are so good from Heydries. Just awesome play. I mean, and you know, you wouldn't think like, oh, why would I bring like a low AP missile unit against dwarves? It's the same reason why I occasionally like to bring one Forsaken against dwarves, just to actually chew down Slayers really, really quickly. So yeah, these Slayers now embroiled in combat against Skeleton Warriors. Grombrindle still healthy. Balance Bar is closed. The cannon has come back. This cannon is still online, but not for long. Although the Skeleton Chariots are going down. Gromby pushing back there as well to try and salvage this situation. And maybe if Tank can get these missiles back online, like at the Dwarven Thunders who have rallied in the back to pick off these Ushabti, that could be quite strong. But yeah, you can see Dragonback Slayers are having to fight melee combat. The Ushabti summon is activated, and Heydries pulling ahead for the first time in this game. It's certainly a tough matchup for these bad boys, but he's doing a very, very good job with it. Looks like we got a series on our hands, boys. And the Dragonback Slayers still being peppered down. Gromby, a little bit slow right now, waddling on foot, trying to get the other Necrotech. The other one did indeed crumble, but now they're going to be turning their sights onto the Khemrian War Sphinx, which has 5,000 HP, down to 4,800. Grombrindle was able to actually stand in front of it and block him in place. Another attack going in as well. Skeleton Summon from Mark of the Black is going to be really helping to punish those Slayers. It's always pretty disastrous when the Slayers get caught in those situations. Now, what I would suggest changing from Tanks build, just based on topical observation, I think you don't need 2 cannons. I think 1 cannon's fine. Cut one of the Slayers and just get like more supporting elements, like more Thunders, go a little bit wider. Because when you're in a very tight formation like that, it's very easy for flanks to be overwhelmed if one of them collapses, for example. So this looks like it's going to be a game for Heydries. I don't see the Dwarves winning this one. I think his Skeleton Archers have done an outstanding job in collapsing this flank up on the hill with super clutch as well. Longbeard's going to easily be dismantled by the Khemrian War Sphinx, and down in the low ground, Gromby will do an okay job, of course, but I mean, the Dwarves do have a couple guns coming back, and the Cannon Crews are both back as well, but I don't know. The Ushabti Summon will disappear here. That would be a pretty damn insane comeback. Like, Gromby's going to have to just go balls deep and just do some serious work. So this Necrotech is now being shot by the Dwarven Thunders, but you can see the Skeleton Warriors are rapidly pushing, and there's no screen for them. These Ushabti here are crumbling down, negative 45. And the Cannon Crew actually might get back online, which is pretty funny. Let's see if it gets on. So the Dwarven Cannons, here they go. Jumping on, but Ark in the Black is nearby, and he runs him over very quickly and knocks him off the cannon. Really good reaction there. Tank is scrapping though for sure, but the Khemrian War Sphinx is just not going to be stopped. It's pushing off the guns. We have some Skeleton Warriors now on top of the Dwarven Thunders, which are pretty much the last hope for the Dowie here. And you can see Grombrindle's going to try and chase this thing, but I mean 68 speed against 32. Smoke Bomb may be off cooldown, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Stranger things have happened, though. I mean, Gromby and a Runesmith certainly aren't terrible. And if the Dwarves can get some gun pieces back online somehow, I don't know. This Necrotech, is it crumbling? No, it's pretty healthy. Has like 1,000 HP, give or take. It's not healthy, but for this point in the game, it is more or less healthy. Nice Smoke Bomb here, though. A Rune of Wrath and Ruin, so it is Flash Bomb. So currently the Khemrian War Sphinx is slowed, and Gromby is able to get a blow on it. So it's down to 4,800, but it actually got healed up by the Necrotechs as well, because this bad boy was at, like, I think 4,400 at one point. Yeah, Rune of Wrath and Ruin being used as well, putting it down to 6 speed, but, Gromby's just kind of mucked up by the Skeleton Warriors here. And I just don't think it's going to be enough, guys. I don't think it's going to be enough. Khemrian War Sphinx, 4,600. It is able to get away from the dual snares from the Dwarves. Longbeard's here making a valiant stand and actually able to crumble down some of the Ushabti, which is quite an impressive feat. I mean, but those are still 2 very powerful Dwarf characters, but cycle charging from a Khemrian War Sphinx should be enough. I believe Ark in the Black still is alive on his chariot as well. And you would really think Arkin's chariot would do magic damage, but for some reason it does not. And yeah, Soulblight's so good too. Lowers their armor by 30, really making Arkin's chariot that much more effective. And the Khemrian War Sphinx just going in ham. I don't think there's any way, guys. I think this is going to be game 2. Going to Heydries and normalizing this best of 5 series. What an absolute scrap. What an absolute scrap indeed. No GG has been drawn yet. I'm sure it will in a moment. And there you go. The Dwarves have been broken. A very tough matchup for the Tomb Kings, but Heydries played exceptionally and did a really good job. Kitek94, I do the same thing, man. When I'm watching streams, I'll occasionally just like be reading the chat and miss the game. No stress. So Heydries tying up the series, both players winning on essentially the counter pick. So V-Claw, we have, if you look at the brackets, here, I'll show you real quick, bud. So King of the Dead, Zero, Tank, and Heydries. Today's tournament, I just messaged a couple random folks in Discord, basically, because I wanted to see if my internet was working before I commit to bigger streams, because I've been having a lot of problems. But yeah, and now it's 1-1 in this best of 5. The next map, yes, these guys are just straight up ready for business. Let's just do the Alpine Ridge. And now they do their picks and bans. Satisfy the grudge! They've wronged us. Yeah, it was a good build. Really good Ushabti play too. I mean, his Heydries just played super well. The collapse is really nice. And thank you guys for joining. We got over 1,000 people. I see we have 281 likes on the stream. Let's see if we can get that up to, up to a little something, something. Appreciate you guys being here. Yeah, I've been enjoying campaign quite a bit. Obviously not being able to stream for the past couple weeks, I would play my quick battles for the day and be like, oh man, I might as well like do some campaign. Absolutely. It's a pretty good field of players. Man, yeah. That legendary Sigvold campaign. I just finished it. I'm not going to tell you guys the outcome if I beat it or not, but it was fun, man. But like you quickly realize how haggard Sigvald is. Like he has some pretty good campaign stuff, like upkeep production and horde growth, but like when you get Kolek and like get him geared out, you're like, oh, so that's what a legendary lord's supposed to do. Whereas like Sigvald is like in the middle of a group of Empire Spearmen for like 15 minutes, just not doing anything, like struggling to kill them, and Kolek's just like terror routing and destroying enemy lords in like 3 hits. Albert, definitely going to be covering, so future for the channel. Fair question. I'm going to see the picks and bans real quick. Okay, so Tank picks Vampire Counts and ban High Elves, and Heydries is going Dark Elves. So this is going to be a really fun match, guys. Both players on their best factions. Tank is a Vampire Count main. Heydries is a Vampire Elf main, a Dark Elf main. But I will be covering Total War for a long time. I love the Total War games, so I'll cover Total War Warhammer 2, until its lifespan ends, and then I'll cover 3 for as long as it ends. And whatever Total War games come, I'll cover those. Any major RTS games that come out, I will cover. If it's like really, really big and popular, because this is what I do for a living, so it needs to have some audience that enjoys it. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Yeah, poor Sigvald. Yeah, the Slanesh bots aren't here. They're busy. They're busy with Legend of Total War. It's probably true. Yeah, his stream is huge. So I'm sure the Slanesh bots see it and they're like, they just go for the biggest fruit on the tree, right? Yeah, Kolek is insane in campaign. He's just like if you get him like the Sword of Cain too, like Kolek can become so terrifying because the penalties for the Sword of Cain doesn't matter for Chaos that much. You just become the destroyer of worlds, like 1,000+ weapon strength. It's quite ludicrous. No, I played Overwatch for a couple weeks and then I just got bored of it. I don't know. I don't enjoy shooters that much. The closest thing I enjoy to a shooter is probably Bannerlord and playing an archer. Yeah, the Slanesh bots have they thought my internet was down, so they just checked me off their list. They're like, oh, that one's not worth our time. Oh man, Alex, when I was really young, I used to follow the NFL. I was actually a big fan of the Baltimore Ravens when I was young. Back when Ray Lewis was playing, you had Ray Lewis, you had Ed Reed, you had Terrell Suggs. I was watching when they won the Super Bowl, but who was their quarterback back then? I really liked the Baltimore Ravens, and it wasn't because I was from there, because I was from California, but see, growing up, we had San Diego Chargers in California and San Francisco 49ers, but where I lived, we didn't really have a team. So I remember watching, the NFL, obviously, and seeing how hyped Ray Lewis would get and just how mean their defense was. I really liked that gritty defensive style, so I became a Ravens fan. But when Ray Lewis retired, I kind of I stopped following NFL a long time ago. But yeah, I'm gonna cover more Bannerlord though for sure. I don't like Three Kingdoms that much. I think it's a good game, but I just don't like it. I don't know. If we got a medieval game or something, I'd be all over that. But I don't know. I just didn't enjoy Three Kingdoms battles that much, and for me, battles is the most important thing. I think Three Kingdoms has some awesome features in campaign, being able to some of the improvements they've made there. I think we'll see in 3, but I just didn't enjoy it that much. Wicked D, you lived in Baltimore for 11 years? Yeah, it was Trent Dilfer, that's right. No, Joe Flacco is their more recent quarterback, but Trent Dilfer was the QB back then. Yeah, man. When I played high school football, and I used to watch Ray Lewis highlight clips just to get all hyped. God, he was so awesome. He was like the Terminator. Yeah. And then here in California, we just had the Raiders being terrible for 20 years. Just freaking recruiting Jamarcus Russell and dude comes into training camp 300 pounds. I know Warhammer lore okay. I've read the Gotrek and Felix books for the most part, so I have a topical understanding of Warhammer lore. Yeah. Brian Dawkins was your Ray Lewis for the Eagles, yeah. Oh man, Kelleran, I don't know. I'd have to think about that. What's up, Peter? How you doing, man? Yeah, I really hope there's no dual mechanic in Warhammer 3. I do not like the dual mechanic. You already get it. When you're watching 2 legendary lords fight in this game, it's it's super cool. It's you're getting a duel. We don't need, if anything, if they want to do anything to spruce it up, add a couple more synced animations to make it more epic. When the dragons get entangled, briefer ones that don't really obstruct the flow of combat. But yeah, No, I don't want the dual mechanic. Well, the 49 Salsicha, the 49ers, I grew up in a small town called Ojai, California. And like we were very far from the 49ers and the Raiders and very, 5 or 6 hours away from the Chargers. So like, although most people were in my area were Chargers fans or Niners fans or Raiders fans, we had a lot of Raiders fans and a lot of Cowboy fans as well. Oh man, wicked. The Bucks. Coach Chucky back in the early 2000s. All right, guys, here we go. Grand Finals, Heydries against Tank. We have Blackguard. We do also have the Blades of the Blood Queen, the Hellebroni, and it looks like Blackheart Corsair. So he doesn't want to commit to archers that are squishy like Dark Shards and Shades, going for ones that have 80 armor and can endure zombie summons, which I think is good. So also Sisters of Singing Doom are very good. If you can rampage some of the Vampire Count Lords, it's quite strong. Blackguard, Coldwood Knights in the back. Looks like a Deathcaster with Spirit Leech. And Marathi, yeah, Marathi's so good. Because Vampire Counts typically play into a very blobby style of play. So having Marathi, who debuffs like the melee attack of nearby troops by frickin' 18, is just insane. Just insane. And that's it. And also Canid Assassin, Web of Shadows, and Trophy Head's pretty good for the duels. And now for Tank's army, he does have the chillest of Geists, but there's a Spirit Leech and Soul Stealer, so there's certainly some answers. But aside from that, I mean, there's not too much magic damage. If he can bait the Soul Stealers and Spirit Leeches elsewhere, then the Chill Geist will actually be very strong. He's got Blood Knights, which of course will wreck Coldwind Spear Riders in combat, zombies, some Graveguard with great weapons, a couple White Kings on foot. I'd love the double White King on foot. Really exceptional at dealing with Canid Assassins, Death Hags, Marathi, you name it. So he does have a couple of those. And that's it. And I would assume a Blood Dragon Lord. Yeah, that's the go-to for most Vampire Count players these days. Yes. Kelleran says, used to live in Jacksonville. Go Jaguars, said no one ever. Yeah. Who else did I really like watching back in the day? I'm a huge Brett Favre fan. I love the Green Bay Packers. Like I watched Brett Favre like all my childhood with my dad when my parents were still together. And man, I used to love watching Brett Favre. Like I know like he threw a lot of interceptions, but there's something about the guy. Like seeing him celebrate after that Super Bowl, I was like, man, that guy is like, and just like being such an Iron Man, playing forever. Anyways, guys, back to Warhammer. I promise. We'll pause the NFL talk for now. So here you have it, guys. Heydries pushing up the high ground, going up the hill. The Blood Dragon Vampire Lord preparing to unleash its foul, disgusting breath, I would imagine, on the Blackguard. I think that's why he's sitting there, because he's going to turn and maybe get a line of sight here on the Blackguard. No, not quite. But the Vampires do have a lot of Graveguard with great weapons, which will trade extremely effectively with the Elite Halberds. Granted, we do have the Blades of the Blood Queen as well. But a lot of it will come down to the breath attacks from the Blood Dragon Lord. If he's able to just get, then Scabscraith going as well. And the White King does miss, unfortunately. Now zombies are being sent in to fight these Sisters of Singing Doom, who will make very quick work of these zombies. Blood Dragon Lord hiding in the shadows. It seems like Tank is taking a very conservative approach here. Here on the far side, Skeleton Warriors are charged by some Coldwind Knights, and it looks like they're going to get some free value. Be able to pull back without taking too much damage. Honestly, the initial engagements, I would say, have gone very well for the Dark Elves. They've taken about 300-400 gold worth of value for almost nothing. Granted, a lot of it for the Vampire Counts does come down to positioning. And a nice breath attack going down. It looks like the Sisters of Singing Doom did take a bit of damage. And I don't know if it was from that breath attack. I think it was from the Scabscraith as well, from one of the White Kings. But that's actually pretty good. And that kind of negates the value that the Vampire Counts have, or the Dark Elves have gotten so far. I always get those two factions confused for some reason. Nonetheless, so Blood Knight's a little bit out of position. They need to be pulled in and start getting busy, start hammering into stuff and cycle charging. He does also have some Skeleton Warriors on the far side. But, if Tank wants to trickle in, it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world to try and wear down this army through attrition, but very conservative play here with the Blood Dragon Lord. And now the Blood Knight's still kind of holding. It seems like he's really focusing his control here on the Chill Geists, thinking about maybe charging in here against the Blackheart Corsairs. And is that a Soul Stealer? It's a Spirit Leech and a Soul Stealer. So that's actually going to do a ton of damage against the Blood Dragon Lord. But on that same note, now Tank can charge in the Chill Geist, knowing that there's not going to be any magic damage for them. They can come in and really start to punish and stomp couches, Dave Chappelle style. So we'll see how that goes. Now on the front lines, you can see the Sorceress of Death, a pretty big mistake here from Heydries. If Tank is paying attention, he could pull the Blood Dragon Lord and probably get a free kill on Heydries' caster, which would be very substantial. And he actually opts to cycle charge the Chill Geist instead of leaving them in combat, not wanting to get rampaged by the Sisters of Singing Doom. And so far, the damage is pretty topical for both players. The Undead have lost a lot of zombies and skeletons, but their good units are more or less still alive. Breath attack coming down the pipe here. Going to be going into the Blades of the Blood Queen and actually does some really good damage. That was a good breath attack. Not a complete contact, but still did some decent work. And I really think that Tank needs to go after this guy here. Just go after that Sorceress of Death. That's like 1 or 2 shots away. And also there's Graveguard support there, but maybe he thinks the Graveguard are going to be enough. because now Heydries has reacted. He's pulled over his Cold One Knights, he's pulling in some Corsairs in combat, and he's really looking to, free up that caster, which is smart. So Chillgeist and Blood Knights are now coming in. Corpse Cart waddling its way in as well. And Heydries doing a pretty good job screening out the Black Guard. He definitely wants to take this angle right here, because this is a lot of nasty cav, which Tank just hasn't been using yet. Just really opting to try and grind down the vampires with breath attacks. And I'm starting to think it's intentional, that he's really just keeping his cav for the late game and just being very cautious. So here comes a charge. Web of Shadows going down, which is quite nice here on the Chillgeist, and Soul Stealer as well. So it looks like Soul Stealer did come off cooldown. But now is the time for, oh, Marathi, you are in some serious trouble, lady. Helm of Discord is activated, so her melee defense is very low. And the Blood Dragon Lord could continue his assault, but it looks like he's going to pull back. Seeing that the Chillgeist just got Shrek there. He does use Invocation, and he's going to want to get those guys back. Blood Knight's charging it as well. Wand of Caridon, or Bolt of Doom, does go after the Blood Dragon Lord, but it looks like he does dodge that. And yeah, just go after the Sorcerers, I think. Get rid of the Spirit Leeches, because Marathi's kind of hard to kill. She has good melee defense, more or less. Also does advance at large and all that sort of good stuff. And Tank was able to salvage that situation, saving his Chillgeist. So the chillest of Geists are now most certainly in a better position. And, up on the high ground, it's actually going really well for the counts. The Black Guard are getting worn down by just the numbers, and the Corpse Guard, of course, buffing these Haggard zombies makes them a little bit better. And now we have a bit of a surround here. Blood Knights opting to charge in, but all these foot characters, you're going to need the Blood Dragon Lord to deal with those, I think. We have the Cold One Knights charging into the Chillgeists, but they're going to be going down very quickly. Actually, no, going after the Blood Knights, which, yeah, Blood Knights should probably just turn around and finish them off. The Rampage going down. It looks like the Cold One Knights are rampaging from being so beat up at this point. And the Blood Dragon Lord just juking very aggressively. Tank is so conservative here, but I think it's paying off. Oh, that breath attack is nice. It hits the Blades of the Blood Queen. It hits the Blackheart Corsairs. Also took out a couple Hellebronai. That was a really, really good one. And now the Chillgeists are falling back. 22 models, still in relatively decent shape. Stable binding. Could potentially chase off these cold ones. Having the Terror out in the late game is going to be really good, though, because, again, K8 Assassin, not immune to Psychology, nor is the Sorcerers of Death. So up on the high ground, though, the Perpetual Spirit Leeches have gotten the Blood Dragon Lord very, very low. This is like a... It's so cool to see players play their main factions. Like, it's just mono-e-mono like this. This is great. And here comes the Blades of the Blood Queen, charging back in. Marathi going in for the kill, doing her anime somersault to try and engage here against the Chillgeists. No magic damage. I mean, obviously she is a magician, but she does not do magic damage with her melee attacks, nor does the K8 Assassin. So those Chillgeists will be a little bit tricky to take down. And really good conservative play here from Tank with his Blood Dragon Lord. Although it is taking a little bit of fire from the Corsairs, I would imagine the Blood Knights will have something to say to their managers here in just a moment. But yeah, the Blood Dragon Lord is more or less healthy. I mean, it does also have quite a bit of room before its healing cap. Scab's Graith going down. Looks like... I don't know what that was trying to hit. The Chillgeists might be going down here. 17 models left. They are in critical binding. And here we have the White King, and the Vampires have a pretty powerful force that's still alive. And also, yeah, 2 White Kings that are in really good shape. The White Kings should be able to overpower the K8 Assassin, especially with the support of this Blood Dragon Lord. So now the Blood Knights charging up on the hill, going after the Blackheart Corsairs. A nice Doom Bolt there by Heydries. Certainly dropping some bows, but the K8 Assassin is actually getting some good damage here on the Blood Dragon Lord. And the Guardian effect is an effect from the Blades of the Blood Queen here. So physical resist going to these nearby characters from the Blades of the Blood Queen. Dark Elf character stars are really, really strong. And I love the K8 Assassin pick from Heydries because it's putting constant damage and pressure on the Blood Dragon Lord, which charges in and does hit Marathi. He is hunting some elusive prey indeed. And Marathi takes quite a bit of damage, but she can give it back if he's reckless. But he pulls back. Very smart play. I just don't see how Heydries can win this now. You can see... Oh, you're ready. Good. Okay, they were just talking earlier. But yeah, I mean, Dark Elves, the White Kings are going to wear them down. There's still a ton of chaff units. I don't know about the Winds of Magic situation from the Blood Dragon Lord, but the 2 White Kings are going to be so good here. And you can see one White King is just beelining with all of his bony speed to go after the K8 Assassin. He does have a BVI, bonus for his infantry, so should be able to deal with the K8 Assassin relatively well. Granted, Marathi's debuffs are strong. He's down to 16 melee attack, which is a saving grace, but here comes the big dragon. There could be a terror out right now. K8 Assassin I don't think is immune to Psychology. I could have been wrong before, but I don't think he is. No, it doesn't look... Oh, he is actually. Wow. Why is he immune to Psychology? Okay, I was completely wrong, guys. For some reason, I thought the K8 Assassin was not immune to Psychology. There must be a buff or something. I did not remember those guys having immune to Psych. Like, why would he have it, not Marathi? Anyway, something to look at. Maybe it's an item or something that I just missed, but nonetheless, you can see here, the Vampire Count's cleaning up shop. Heydries on the ropes. Tank will be going up 2-1 in this series. As the heir of Aborash here, the Blood Dragon Lord, doing his line proud. Marathi and the K8 Assassin making a last stand. And I just don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here. Here comes the big, scary Blood Dragon Lord. He is thirsting for blood, boys. He is thirsty. And the Blackguard are making their stand here, but the charge coming in should buckle them. Yeah, you can see they're going to get pretty low in leadership here, I would imagine. Negative 97. That is always a sign of dire times to come. Oh, that Soul Stealer, though. Pretty clutch, but too little too late. And Tank with the most patient Vampire Count play I've ever seen, but it just goes to show. He knows the faction better than I do. And he played a really good game. Both players were on their main factions there, so that made a good scrap. So now, guys, Tank is going to be going up 2-1 here in this series, in this glorious best of 5. And we will see who pulls out the next game. Yes. Stardog, I am a geezer. It is true. All right, so now we're on the next map, guys. Let's go ahead and pick it for these guys. We will do the Iron Sand Desert. Now we'll do Alturf Outskirts. Eschen. We'll do Eschen. So Tank is saying, and now I have a problem. There's no more factions I'm good at, is what Tank is saying. That's really funny. So Tank says he's really good at 3 factions, but he's used them all. So certainly a tough situation to be put in. Yeah, you know, Austin Jackson, I would love them to add Musion as a playable faction with like some unique Undead Bretonnian units. God, that'd be so rad. I know there's mods. Yeah. And then we got V-Claw in chat saying fighting vampire counts openly like this is difficult for Dark Elves. What would you suggest? Would you suggest like Kite? Like playing with like Repeater Crossbows, Scourge Runners, Cold Moon Knights, and just controlling the mobility and pulling them apart? Waiting for the spend of all your breaths and summons while letting chaff fight is pretty common for vampire count players these days. Aristodemos, that's good to know. Thank you. Because I'm trying to get better at vampire counts. We have a donation from Magic D. It says, hey, Turin, internet was fixed. Well, maybe. We'll find out. Good to see you back streaming. Dude, it is so good to be back streaming. Like, you have no idea, bro. I was like straight up depressed. Not actually depressed, but I was very, very sad at times the past couple weeks. Because like streaming is my favorite thing about this whole jam. But thank you for the 20, man. It means a lot. So yeah, basically I'm with my old internet service provider right now, but on Friday I have another internet service provider coming to install as a backup because it's pretty cheap. It's like $40, $50 a month or something. And that other ISP does not rely on, it's slower overall, but enough to stream, but it doesn't rely on like neighbors and other people using it because it's done through the phone lines. So I'm going to have like 2 internet connections just to be safe. Like, so if mine starts to lag because of local congestion, I'll then be able to switch to my other ISP just by switching modems. Damn, Max, that sounds pretty serious. Get some rest, dude. Yeah, I mean, a school of thought against vampires from way back in the day was to use a ton of like halberds and just kind of turtle up. V-Claw says kite or blobs are viable. Yeah. Absolutely. So here we have Empire from Heydries banning Beastmen. And we have Tomb Kings. So Tomb Kings versus Empire. It's a fun matchup. I actually think this is a good matchup for the Empire. I think it's a pretty even one, actually. Maybe slightly Empire favored, but not by much, if anything at all. Just, again, my anecdotal opinion, but I could be wrong. Yeah, it's like, so basically my main internet provider is Spectrum Internet, which obviously goes through the, you know, they have the wiring infrastructure, it runs through the cables, but the other one I'm getting is AT&T. Yeah. So here's for Spectrum. My Spectrum, we pay, I can't remember how much we pay, but we get 20, we're supposed to have 20 upload speed and like 200 to 300 download. The only thing that matters for me is upload, right? It's the only thing that matters is upload, really. So that's Spectrum. That's my current one that I've been having problems with. For the past 2 weeks, my upload speed has been 0.05 to 2. So I haven't been able to stream until like last night. I think they may have fixed something. So, and then also for the... oh, that's a good tip. He's that guy. Yeah, I'll look into that. If you're on Discord, shoot me a message about that. But the other one I'm getting is AT&T, which is apparently it's allocations to your specific residence, so it doesn't have anything to do with like neighbors usage and things like that. So we'll see. I'm just, yeah, no more games. So yeah, it's gonna be Heydries on Empire versus Tank on the dreaded Tomb Kings. Seeing some pretty good faction diversity today. Nicodem, how you doing, man? I know no one can stop Helman Gorst. Yeah, so here's the thing. It's really funny. In my neighboring city, so over in Pasadena and then also over towards Burbank, they have like fiber internet, which gets like 500 upload or something, but like just the area I live in doesn't have it, which sucks. I'm like literally in this like one choke of living residence area that does not have the really fast internet. Yeah. Yeah, he's that guy. Hit me up, man. You know, I honestly think Mucione could be added as not like a unique faction in the sense that it has like all these cool, you know, Bretonnian hybrid units, but I think what Creative Assembly probably will do, and I feel like this will happen, is they'll just add Mucione as a regular vampire count faction and give the Red Duke his own like cool tree with like some weird kind of hybrid Bretonnian vampire count stuff. I feel like that will happen at some point because Mucione is popular, has a really cool lord, and just like that would be a really cool free LC at some point, I think. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mucione. I don't think they'll get like unique Bretonnian hybrid units, but I do think they'll get like maybe like the equivalent of a Sylvanian hand like they could do Sylvanian or Bretonnian crossbowmen, the equivalent of like Sylvanian handgunners and like, you know, what you see with vampire counts. Yeah. Oh yeah, we have a Discord for practice games. Yeah, we'll drop a link. If we could get one from one of the mods, that'd be great. I think Wicked D's got you covered, an absolute champ of the people. So Wicked says, yeah, he got fiber last summer in Colorado. Well, wherever Anna and I move next, we're going to make sure we have good internet and streaming won't be an issue ever again, hopefully. You would think that LA would be, you know, would be good, but I guess not. Cursed Los Angeles. Oh, I bet Wicked. That must have felt good, dude. BW Cultist says, I know the feeling 99.8% of your city has fiber and you're in the 2%. Players are taking their time with these picks, which is totally fine. No rush on them. But you can tell all the marbles are on the table. They're coming in for blood. Oh my god. The internet service providers are just the worst. Like, oh my god. Freaking, well, Spectrum is owned by Time Warner Cable, I think. New Zealand has good internet. We had, you know, when I was in Poland for a while, we had good internet out there as well when we were in the city. You got fiber there in 2005. Oh my god. So, Marcus, there is ladder for Warhammer. You can go play there. Unless you have like sometimes if you have like mods running, it doesn't allow you, so you'd have to double check that. But if you want to find, you know, beginners to play against or intermediate players or advanced players, Wicked just dropped a link to the Discord up above and just join in there and just meet some people. Yeah, there's always people playing, looking for games, practicing, things like that. It got a little bit slower after Bannerlord came out because a lot of people just beeline for Bannerlord. But I mean, a lot of content creators in Total War in general are kind of like going over to Bannerlord just as their primary thing on their channel. But I enjoy Bannerlord, but I got to the end game of one of my campaigns and I just kind of got bored, you know? I really enjoy Bannerlord PvP though. Yeah, Bannerlord's really fun though. It's really, really fun. It's super addictive. Horus Heresy says he moved one street down and couldn't get fiber anymore because of where he moved. Dude, that sucks, dude. That sucks so bad. All right, guys, potentially the last game here in the finals. Heydries on the ropes. Tank currently up 2-1. It's going to be Tomb Kings. Oh, yeah, Sneaky Snakes. That's what I want to see against Empire. So for Heydries, we got Sigmar Sons. We also have 3 greatswords in the front line. So, you know, Felcon actually did this to me the other day. He surprised me with a ton of greatswords, and it worked. It was really good, but it could just be because he's Felcon. He does also have a Warrior Priest, Soulfire Bombardment, very good for clearing out chaff, as is the Banner of Flame for giving fire damage to Karl Franz to really beat down the Tomb King's Lords. Heydries has a couple Outriders. He does also have the Royal Altdorf Griffites, Demogryph Knights, and a Warrior Priest. And, yeah, Karl, great army. Very straight to business, very elite. And now for the Tomb Kings, what do we got? We got some Skeleton Horsemen, Eyes of the Desert, which are very good against Cav and single entities as well with their laser eyes. Skeleton Horsemen. Ooh, man, this is a good pick by Tank. This is so good. So he's got a Casket of Souls. That is going to wreck the Greatswords. Aside from that, mainly Skeleton Spears in the front. We got Ark in the Black on foot, a Tomb Prince on... no, they're actually both on horseback. One who shopped you Great Bow. Man, Tank's army is so good. It's so well thought out. Like, the Ushop Great Bow chosen to the gods will wreck great swords. The Casket will wreck great swords. Against the Cav units, you know, he could just kind of hide behind the spears. I really like Tank's army. I think it's very solid. Very solid indeed. So just going to minimize real quick. One sec, guys. Perfect. So yeah, you know, greatswords can catch people off guard because usually Tomb Kings are going to expect state troops, right? They're going to be like, oh, it's just going to be like state troops and blah, blah, blah. But if you come in with greatswords, occasionally they can really surprise the front line of Tomb Guard and like cut through them. So I think it's a pretty cool choice by Heydries. I think the Casket and the Chosen of the Gods are going to be super punishing. But, you know, you can never underestimate Karl Franz. If he's able to get in there and goon out any of these characters, like that could just be game over super quick also. And, you know, the Demogryph Knight Goon Squad is really powerful as well. I mean, these demis will annihilate the Chosen of the Gods. They'll wreck the Skeleton Horsemen. They'll also destroy the Sepulchral Stalkers if they get the good engagement. And that can win the game. Either player has a good chance here is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Either player has a good chance indeed. Yeah, Tank was saying that he doesn't have any of his good factions anymore, so he's having to play like the ones he's not as skilled at. I know Heydries is a very good Empire player too, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But a lot of people, you know, obviously will sell themselves short in such situations. I'm sure he knows what he's doing, yes, indeed. And now the battle for the fate of Eschen is soon to be underway. The Chosen of the Gods. Oh, he actually has 2 great bows. I missed the second one. So yeah, this great bow will probably just hammer the demis, and the other one will shoot great swords, I would imagine. Chosen of the Gods. I mean, he might just go after demis on both sides. The great swords will be shot with the caskets, I would imagine. I'm curious to see what Tank's target priority is. So what he's doing with Ark in the Black, and I'm sure some of you guys are wondering, is he's just going to summon some skeletons on the advancing great swords to halt their advance. And the first casket shot, oh, brutal, and it also hits some Outriders. Ah, that's painful. So here comes the skeleton summon from Arkin. And also the Carrion attacking the Outriders at the same time. Really good play so far. It's a tricky pickle to be in here. Usually I really like to see, you know, when I play against Tomb Kings, I like to bring a couple cannons to pound the great bows and, you know, potentially pound out the casket. But the casket, yeah, 1 unit of greatswords already down to half health. God, that is so foul. And the Ushabti great bows too are just tearing into the Royal Altar of Griffites. They have been healed by an Earthblood, but they've already lost 2 models. Spirit Leech going down as well. Whenever I hear Spirit Leech, I just get like a nostalgic trip back to game, like the early days. Oh, nice play by Tank. Beautiful masterclass summon. So the Demogryph Knights were coming in for a charge. He drops a skeleton summon. He traps models and just buys time for his ranged units to just continue to, you know, trash can these Empire forces. Soulfire Bombardment going down, which of course is flashy, but it doesn't do too much here. So basically, before the fighting really gets going, one Demogryph Knight is like down for the count. Down to 13 models, you know, 15% HP. And the Casket of Souls has just rained hell on these great swords. Man, this has been a brutal start here. So Heydries coming in with Franz, but Franz is then shot by the Eyes of the Desert. And you can see Karl Franz running for the hills. Eyes of the Desert hitting really hard. And I mean, the skeleton spears are intact. It feels like the Tomb Kings have only really lost like some Carrion, as well as the skeleton horsemen, and the Empire's just being dismantled. These Royal Altar of Griffites just beaten up. These demis are trapped in skeletons. The casket in the back still shooting away. Ark of the Black did take a little bit of damage, it looks like, so maybe the Outriders were able to pepper him a little bit. And yeah, if Heydries wants to have a chance here, he's going to have to pull off some like MLG plays with Franz. Regrowth is a good start for sure. Maybe go in and go back here and try and goon out Arkin, but Arkin is actually hidden right now, so I don't think Heydries knows he's here. Chosen of the Gods. How chosen are they? 9 of 9 models. Franz getting some good value, but there is a Tomb Prince coming in with the Tomb Strike activated, so currently his stats are quite steroided. 60 and 403 for his respective offensive stats, and also the Ushabtis, or excuse me, the Sepulchral Stalkers are lending their poison shots. And the Outriders in the back are being pressed by spears. There's Carrion on top of them. I mean, the great swords are just super inefficient here. Not really getting any value. I mean, 24 kills. That's oftentimes why you just see state troops in this matchup, because, like, yeah, if they get pounded, who cares? At least your cannons and other assets will be doing well. But, man, those great swords just getting blasted by the Eyes of the Desert as well. Karl Franz coming in to try and fight, but there's a bunch of skeleton spears. There's a Tomb Prince hot on his tail with Liber Mortis active. I mean, Spirit Leech going down. Golem Ra's coming in as well. And again, I think that's really the only chance for Heydries. He's going to have to get some huge gooning here with the Franz. Demogryph Knights are unfortunately stuck in combat here with Skeleton Warriors, and the Ushabti are just shooting him point blank. Casket of Souls, unthreatened, completely happy, sitting, relaxed, enjoying its life. And here we have the Warrior Priest of Heydries charging in. Good to be going after the Ushabti, but Tank very quick to react here with the Skeleton Warriors, which, you know, won't stop it per se, but at least does provide some buffering. Now Karl Franz going for another gooning attempt. You can see his Eye of Sigmar, his Ochko, is looking at Ark in the Black. And we'll see if we can get him. Arkin's at 1900. Franz is a pretty accurate heat-seeking missile, but it looks like some really good juking from Tank, and he also pulls him into additional fire and Spirit Leeches. And now the Sepulchral Stalkers are going to dive into combat, and they might be able to shank Franz a little bit. Bounce of Power is still obviously very heavily Tomb King favored, but good scrapping here by Heydries. Despite the fact that he is kind of on the ropes a little bit, he's still doing a very good job considering the circumstances and what he's lost. Outriders up on the high ground shooting at Arkin, trying to take him out. They do chip about 200 HP off him. And it looks like Franz is just straight up broken, running for the hills. And man, what a great game. His build was so good. His execution was flawless. His summon was so good over here on the Demogryph Knights. I mean, so much good play here from Tank here in the fourth quarter. And now Karl Franz is running for the hills. I would imagine that Tank does have the Ushabti in guard mode. And what guard mode does, guys, is it makes sure they follow the orders you give them essentially to a T or to the best of their ability. So like if you have a missile unit in guard mode, it'll keep shooting at something even if things are attacking it where it can, essentially. Franz running off the edge of the battlefield. I think that's going to be doom and despair for the Sons of Sigmar. The Greatsword's finally getting into combat, but the Casket, I mean, these Greatswords have 3 kills. And that is going to be a victory for Tank. Well played to Heydries as well. Both players played a great series today. But our ultimate victor in today's tournament is going to be Tank. So the internet gods have survived. God of Gobos, thank you for the 25 SEK. And Cash was a weeb. Oh, man. Then we have another donation from Ozkirk during the game as well, saying, great to have you back streaming. Excellent, entertaining matches and commentary as always. Much appreciated. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate you guys. And that is going to be it. The grand victor for today is going to be Tank. A nice, tight 2-hour stream. Yeah, the Greatswords were an interesting pick. I mean, cannons definitely would have wrecked this army. Like Hammer of the Witches and a Great Cannon would have been able to just Shrek this army like horribly. But, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you cut the Greatswords here, get like a couple Spearmen, and get 2 cannons, you could still keep the Demis and Outriders, and you would have like a wider, more efficient army, I think. But, I mean, the Greatsword thing can catch people off guard, but I think Tank was pretty prepared for it. Optimus Pine, that's good, dude. That is good indeed. Well played to these 2 fine gentlemen. I just want to sincerely thank you guys all for joining today. So if we go to the bracket again to take a look, I want to thank King of the Dead, Zero, Tank, and Heydries for playing. Tank is going to be the grand champion. We'll make his name large and epic here. But that is it for today. So I will be back streaming tomorrow. Probably going to do some Bannerlord. I'm not sure yet. Playing it by ear. But nonetheless, we'll be back. Tank has won today, but Heydries putting up a great fight. Obviously, probably trying some new stuff. I'm sure you were, Heydries, right? You let me know in chat. And that's it for today. That's it. Man, it feels good to have this internet working once again. I got to tell you guys. So pertaining to donations, just want to go through and thank all you guys. God of Gobos, Ozkirk, Magic D, Pickled Buddha, Tanner Mitz with the fat 200, man. Tanner, thank you so much for still here, bud, regardless. We also have Aerosmith, Gallahan, Ruben, Ivar. Makes me want to go watch Vikings. Denick, Gallahan again. And then we had Lich109 with several donations as well. So thank you guys all so much. So I'll be back tomorrow. Well played to Tank. Congrats on the victory. And yeah, guys, make sure to drop a like on the way out. Let's see if we can get it up over 500 before the stream concludes. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, join the party. We're going to be doing all sorts of call to arms for Bannerlord and obviously Total War tournaments. So make sure to do that as well. Thank you for streaming. Yes, for streaming. We will. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining. Congrats to Tank. And we will see you guys on the other side.